Thank you. The Honorable Union Finance Minister, Srimati Nirmala Sitaramji has arrived. Kindly stand and I request all the members of the audience please sit down. I request you sit because the members of the media are holding her up. Kindly take your seats. Purni Subramaniam, the director of the Indian Institute of Astrophysics, Bangalore, is explaining to Madam Nirmala Sitharaman about this particular unique Cosmos project. It's almost complete, and the guest is arriving on the stage. The students who are at the back, kindly take your seats quickly. The chairs are available at the back. Kindly take your seats quickly. Kindly give a round of applause and receive Honorable Chief Guest, Madam Nirmala Sitharaman ji, our Honorable Union Minister for Finance. I request all the guests to take their seats, please. Our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Today is an important day in the annals of the University of Mysore as the Union Finance Minister Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman is here amidst us to lay the foundation stone of the Cosmology Education and Research Training Center, in short, Cosmos. This momentous program is taking place immediately after one-day national symposium on the trends in drug discovery, in which eminent scientists participated and discussed the new frontiers of medicine and pharmacology. Drug discovery has assumed greater significance in the wake of COVID-19 pandemic as the scientists applied their minds and came out with a remedy in record time. The advances made in modern science is breathtaking and directed to bring succor to this suffering humanity. In the last 4 months, 3 game-changing experiments have been conducted successfully. The first case is that a medical team in NYU Langone Hospital in New York attached a kidney from a gene-edited animal to a person declared brain dead to see if the animal kidney was able to do the job processing waste and producing urine. It did. The second case is from the University of Maryland, where a team of doctors used the heart of an animal which had genetically modified features as a replacement on a patient who had run out of available options. By all accounts, the operation seems to have been successful. The third case is the news report that a doctor in Germany who has been working in the area of xenotransplants plans to develop a farm to cultivate genetically modified organs for such transplants. Amazon founder and multi-billionaire Jeff Bezos has donated an enormous amount of money to an American anti-aging company pursuing biological reprogramming for cellular rejuvenation. Scientists believe that biological reprogramming could be extended to revitalize entire animal bodies and ultimately lead to infinite life. These experiments are being discussed at present in the world. Astrophysicists, of course, train their telescopes to the outer space to understand more and more about the stellar world. Even as the biological scientists grapple with the diseases that flesh is heir to, the astrophysicists like Dr. Annapurni Subramaniam enlighten us about galactic structure, Magellanic clouds, and stellar population, and so on. The Cosmos project, being undertaken by the University of Mysore, will have a planetarium to bring the skies closer to us, and stars will be our next-door neighbors. Without much ado, let me call upon the students of the University of Fine Arts College to present the invocation.
Shri Gauri शङ्करीश्वरी तोयजाक्षी शङ्करीश्वरी तोयजाक्षी शङ्करीश्वरी.
Now I request the students of the University of Fine Arts College to present the Nadagita, or the state anthem, and I request all the members of the audience and the dignitaries to keep standing during the national anthem.
जय भारत जननीय तनुजाते जय हे कर्नाटक माते जय सुंदर नदी वनಗಳ ನಾಡೆ जय हे रस ಋಷಿಗಳ ಬೀಡೆ जय भारत जननीय तनुजाते ಜನನಿಯ ಜೋಗುಳ ವೇಗದ ಘೋಷ ಜನನಿಗೆ ಜೀವವು ನಿನ್ನಾವೇಶ ಹಸುರಿನ ಗಿರಿಗಳ ಸಾಲೆ ನಿನ್ನಯ ಕೊರಳಿನ ಮಾಲೆ ಕಪಿಲ ಪತಂಜಲ ಗೌತಮ ಜಿನನುತ ಭಾರತ ಜನನಿಯ ತನುಜಾತೆ ಜಯ ಭಾರತ ಜನನಿಯ ತನುಜಾತೆ ಸರ್ವ ಜನಾಂಗದ ಶಾಂತಿಯ ತೋಟ ರಸಿಕರ ಕಂಗಳ ಸೆಳೆಯುವ ನೋಟ ಹಿಂದೂ ಕ್ರೈಸ್ತ ಮುಸಲ್ಮಾನ ಪಾರಸಿಕ ಜೈನರುದ್ಯಾನ ಜನಕನ ಹೋಲುವ ದೊರೆಗಳ ಧಾಮ ಗಾಯಕ ವೈನಿಕರ ರಾಮ ಜಯ ಭಾರತ ಜನನಿಯ ತನುಜಾತೆ ಕನ್ನಡ ನುಡಿ ಕುಣಿದಾಡುವ ಗೇಹ ಕನ್ನಡ ತಾಯಿಯ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ದೇಹ ಜಯ ಭಾರತ ಜನನಿಯ ತನುಜಾತೆ ಜಯ ಹೇ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಮಾತೆ ಜಯ ಸುಂದರ ನದಿ ವನಗಳ ನಾಡೆ ಜಯ ಹೇ ರಸ ಋಷಿಗಳ ಬೀಡೆ ಜಯ ಭಾರತ ಜನನಿಯ ತನುಜಾತೆ ಜಯ ಹೇ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಮಾತೆ ಜಯ ಸುಂದರ ನದಿ ವನಗಳ ನಾಡೆ ಜಯ ಹೇ ರಸ ಋಷಿಗಳ ಬೀಡೆ ಜಯ ಭಾರತ ಜನನಿಯ ತನುಜಾತೆ.
Madam Rashmi, Vidushi Rashmi led her team, her dear students, Miss Sangeeta, Miss Ravanti, Miss Shweta, Miss Kalyani, Miss Manasa and Miss Deepika in rendering the invocation and the state anthem soulfully. Basically a computer scientist, Professor G. Hemant Kumar, our Honorable Vice Chancellor, has published more than 400 research papers in national and international peer-reviewed journals and presented more than 160 research papers in national and international conferences. He has over 2,135 scientific citations and H index 22 and I-10 index 51 for his research contributions. As the 25th Vice Chancellor of our beloved university, he is carrying forward the legacy with verve and aplomb. He is extremely happy today that the Honorable Union Minister Shri Nirmala Sitharamji is laying the foundation stone for the Cosmos project, which will be a major project materializing during his tenure. I request the Honorable Vice Chancellor to deliver the welcome address.
ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ರೆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಶ್ರೀಮತಿ ನಿರ್ಮಲಾ ಸೀತಾರಾಮ್, Honorable Union Finance Minister, Government of India, Shri Pratap Sima, Honorable Lok Sabha Member, Mysore Kodagu Lok Sabha Constituency, Professor K. Vijay Raghavan, Principal Scientific Advisor, Government of India, Shri K. N. Vyas, Secretary, Department of Atomic Energy, Government of India, Dr. S. Chandrasekhar, Secretary, Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, Professor Annapurni Subramaniam, Director, Indian Institute of Astrophysics, Bangalore, all my colleagues, syndicate members, academic council members, and our former Vice Chancellor, Professor K.S. Rangappa, and also the research scholars, invitees, medias, and also today we have got the President of Ramakrishna Math, Swami Muktidananda Ji, so I pranam to him. Undoubtedly, we have gathered here on historic occasion, the foundation stone laying ceremony of Cosmology Education and Research Training Center, or COSMOS. Our Honorable Union Minister, Srimati Nirmala Sitaram Ji, has come to Mysore especially for this ceremony. We are indeed grateful to her for taking time off and amidst of her busy schedule. A word about the COSMOS at outset. COSMOS will host the India's first planetarium with a DigiStar 7 system and Domex screen. This unique real-time planetarium with a playback engine will make an extremely powerful tool for education and training for the students as well as our teachers. A comprehensive education and public outreach program will be the integral part of COSMOS project. The project will organize regular teaching courses for the schools and college students. The training on processing the astronomical data, coding, hands-on experience, along with systematic documentation of the astronomy. This training is important because with the effort of the university and academia, the horizon of the knowledge will expand exponentially. Without our conscious knowledge, the bridge between amateur observers and specialists will be built. This will go a long way for familiarizing the distant objects, and celestial phenomena will be no longer an alien activity. University, right from the beginning, has fostered the amalgamation of amateurish curiosity with the experts' experiment. That was the dream of the founding fathers, who said in clear terms, university should reach the knowledge to the doorsteps of the people. This has been the guiding principle since the inception of the university, which has crossed many milestones during its illustrious career of 106 years. I'll not be speaking much about the COSMOS project since Dr. Annapurni Subramaniam, the expert, he is here to enlighten us on various aspects connected to this project. ಜಗನ್ಮಾತೆಯಾದ ಚಾಮುಂಡೇಶ್ವರಿ ದೇವಿಯ ತವರೂರು, ಖ್ಯಾತಿಯ ಚಾಮುಂಡಿ ಬೆಟ್ಟದ ಸಪ್ಪದಲ್ಲಿರುವ ಈ ಪ್ರದೇಶ ಯೋಜನೆಗೆ ಸೂಕ್ತವಾಗಿದೆ ಎಂದು ನಾನು ಹೇಳಬಲ್ಲೆ. ದೇವರ ಅನುಗ್ರಹ ಮತ್ತು ಆಶೀರ್ವಾದ ಸದಾ ನಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಕಾಯುತ್ತದೆ ಮತ್ತು ಕತ್ತಲೆಯಿಂದ ಬೆಳಕಿನೆಡೆಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರಯಾಣವನ್ನು ಖಚಿತಪಡಿಸುತ್ತದೆ. ಈ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಮೈಸೂರು ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾನಿಲಯದ ಸ್ಥಾಪನೆಗೆ ಕಾರಣಕರ್ತರಾದ ಒಡೆಯರ್ ವಂಶಸ್ಥರಾದ ಶ್ರೀ ಜಯಚಾಮರಾಜೇಂದ್ರ ಒಡೆಯರ್ ಅವರನ್ನು ನಾವು ಸ್ಮರಣೆ ಮಾಡಲೇಬೇಕು. ಹಾಗೆಯೇ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಪ್ರಮಾಣ ಅರ್ಪಿಸದಿದ್ದರೆ ನನ್ನ ಕರ್ತವ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ವಿಫಲನಾಗುತ್ತೇನೆ. ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ ಈ ಸ್ಥಳಕ್ಕೆ ಅವರ ಹೆಸರೇ ಸೂಕ್ತವೆಂದು ಜಯಚಾಮರಾಜೇಂದ್ರ ಒಡೆಯರ್ ಸೆಂಟರ್ ಆಫ್ ಹೈಯರ್ ಲರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಎಂದು ಹೆಸರಿಸಲಾಗಿದೆ. ಮೈಸೂರು ರಾಜವಂಶದ ಕೊನೆಯ ರಾಜರು ಮತ್ತು ಸೌಜನ್ಯ ಉತ್ತಮ ನಡತೆಯ ಮೂರ್ತರೂಪರಾಗಿದ್ದರು ರಾಜರು. ಅವರ ತತ್ವಶಾಸ್ತ್ರಜ್ಞ ಜ್ಞಾನವುಳ್ಳ ರಾಜ ಎಂಬ ಹೆಗ್ಗಳಿಕೆಗೆ ಪಾತ್ರರಾಗಿದ್ದರು. ನಮ್ಮ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯದ ಶ್ರೇಯೋಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿಗೆ ಅವರ ಧಾರಾಳತನ ಸಾಕ್ಷಿಯಾಗಿರುವುದರಿಂದ ನಮ್ಮ ಎಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ನಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಆಶೀರ್ವದಿಸುತ್ತಾರೆ ಎಂಬ ಖಾತ್ರಿ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿದೆ. ಪ್ರಸ್ತುತ ವೇದಿಕೆಯ ಮೇಲೆ ಆಸೀನರಾಗಿರುವ ಗಣ್ಯರನ್ನು ಸ್ವಾಗತಿಸುವುದಕ್ಕೆ ನನಗೆ ಸಂತೋಷವಾಗುತ್ತದೆ. ಭಾರತ ಸರ್ಕಾರದ ಗೌರವಾನ್ವಿತ ಹಣಕಾಸು ಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳಾದ ಶ್ರೀಮತಿ ನಿರ್ಮಲಾ ಸೀತಾರಾಮನ್ ರವರನ್ನು ನಾನು ಬಹಳ ಸಂತೋಷದಿಂದ ಸ್ವಾಗತಿಸುತ್ತಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದ ರಾಜ್ಯಸಭಾ ಸದಸ್ಯರಾಗಿ ಶ್ರೀಮತಿ ನಿರ್ಮಲಾ ಸೀತಾರಾಮನ್ ರವರು ಪ್ರತಿನಿಧಿಸುತ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಒಂದು ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಅವರಿಗೆ ತವರೂರಾಗಿದೆ. ನಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರತಿನಿಧಿಗಳಿಂದ ಧಾರಾಳ ಸಹಾಯವನ್ನು ಅಪೇಕ್ಷಿಸುವುದು ಈ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರದ ಸಹಜವಾದ ನಡೆಯಾಗಿದೆ. The Honorable Union Minister has extended help in a big way for the Cosmos project, and she is sure she will be touched with us for the learning about the progress of the project. We make this project, we promise her that we will diligently work for the realizing of this project for her expectations. As a defense minister and especially as finance minister, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman ji has set a benchmark that will be recorded in the annals of the post-independent India as worth as emulating by her successor. Madam, we are indeed grateful to you for accommodating this program and also amidst of your extremely demanding busy schedule. As a finance minister, you are the incarnation of Lakshmi, that is goddess of wealth. Madam, you are laying the foundation stone of this project. Therefore, it will sure to come up in the recorded time and serve the purpose what we meant to serve. On behalf of the university and also on behalf of the citizens of Mysore, I welcome Madam very warmly. Shri Pratap Simha, our Honorable Parliament member and representing Mysore on Kodagu district, is the young and dynamic leader. He has been nurturing his constituency with the vision of veteran and also the people in this region have re-elected him, showing his great love and affection. Shri Pratap Simha is reciprocated that love of the people in the ample of measures by responding their needs with a clear understanding. It is a matter of my pride to welcome Shri Pratap Simha, our beloved MP, to this occasion. Professor Vijay Raghavan is the Emeritus Professor and former Director of National Center of Biological Sciences. In 2012, he was elected as Fellow of Royal Society, and 2014, he was elected as Foreign Associate of U.S. National Academy of Sciences. I am happy to note that Dr. Vijay Raghavan has conferred Padma Shri in 2013. He is also the recipient of Infosys Prize in the Life Sciences category in 2009. The Government of India appointed him as the Principal Scientific Advisor since 2018. It is indeed a privilege to welcome Dr. Vijay Raghavan. A very warm welcome to you, sir. Shri K.N. Vyas, Shri Kamalesh Neelakanta Vyas, a top nuclear scientist of the country. He was appointed as the Director of BARC for his outstanding national and international contributions in nuclear energy. The Government of India has recognized his merit and appointed him the Secretary of Department of Atomic Energy and the Chairman of Atomic Energy Commission of India. It is a privilege to welcome you, sir. My warm welcome to you, sir. Dr. Srivari Chandrasekhar, former Director of Indian Institute of Chemical Technology, IICT, and renowned synthetic organic chemist. His research efforts have led the synthesis of the complex and scarcely available natural products, new molecular entities for affordable healthcare. I am happy to note that Dr. Chandrasekhar has more than 285 publications with 7,600 citations. He has received several accolades, including Eminent Scientist Award for the contribution in the field of chemistry from Telangana State in 2017, and C.N.R. Rao National Prize for the Chemical Research in 2012, it is indeed a great honor to welcome Dr. Shivari to this occasion. I wish to note that University of Mysore and Dr. Chandrasekhar has got good association. We have made a MOU when he was the director of IICT Bangalore, and we are working with the research of chemical technology through our university. I welcome Dr. Shivari Chandrasekhar on this occasion. Professor Annapurni Subramania is the director of Indian Institute of Astrophysics, Bangalore. Professor Annapurni works in the area of star clusters and stellar evolutions and population of the galaxies. It is my privilege to welcome Professor Annapurni Subramaniam. And before that, I want to tell, for this occasion, she has worked day and night since almost a week. We have got online meetings continuously. She was following like anything. I must congratulate you and welcome you to this occasion on behalf of university. In this occasion, I welcome the President of Ramakrishna Math, Swamiji Muktidanandaji. And also, I say a special welcome to Professor K.S. Rangappa, who is the former Vice Chancellor, and he has also made a different direction to the University of Mysore. Before that, I wish to welcome Dr. Gautam Bagadi, who is the Deputy Commissioner of this Mysore district, and he has worked for this project continuously. He has given a lot of support for this project. So I welcome on behalf of University of Mysore. During the tenure of Vice Chancellor, the momentous event occurs in the university. Among them, many falls under the ambit of the routine, but few are bracketed as a significant game-changing ones. The today's ceremony is definitely a significant game-changing one belonging to this category. We will cherish this moment long time to come. I once again welcome you all. Thank you very much.
I request Professor Loknath to welcome our Vice Chancellor by offering a bouquet. The Vice Chancellor has already introduced Professor Annapurni Subramaniam to the audience. To remind ourselves once again, she is the Director of the Indian Institute of Astrophysics, Bangalore, and works on areas like star cluster, stellar evolution, and population in galaxies and Magellanic clouds. She must be extremely happy that such a day, such a moment has arrived, and I request Professor Annapurni Subramaniam to address the gathering.
A very good morning to everyone, and I'm thankful to all the audience and the students to be present for this particular function. Let me first welcome Madam Srimati Nirmala Sitharamanji, Honorable Union Finance Minister, and thank you so much for Madam for gracing this occasion for which we have convened here, which I repeat again, she's going to lay the foundation stone for the Cosmology Education and Research Training Center, short named as Cosmos. We also have Professor Vijay Raghavan, who is the Principal Scientific Advisor. Thank you so much, sir, for gracing this occasion. We have Sri Ken Vyas, Secretary, Department of Atomic Energy here. Thank you so much, sir, for coming. And we have Dr. S. Chandrasekhar, Secretary, Department of Science and Technology. Thank you, sir. We have Sri Pratap Simha, Honorable Member of Lok Sabha. Thank you. And we have Registrar of the University, and GC Gautam. Yeah, so thank you so much for gracing this occasion. And there are also a lot of dignitaries out here, the faculty of University of Mysore, and also members of Indian Institute of Astrophysics. Thank you so much. A special welcome to the financial advisor, DST, Ms. Vishwajit Sahaiji is in the audience. Thank you so much for coming, sir. And all students and dignitaries and all of you here, assembled here to know about Cosmos, participate in this momentous milestone of this particular project. And the students who will also be listening to the first activity of Cosmos, which is the public talk titled, Are We Alone? So moving forward, I had some slides on this particular project. If you can project it, it will be great. If you cannot, I will go on with I'll talk about Cosmos. So Cosmos is a center for training and education. So we have, it's been projected or not projected? Okay, yeah. Okay, thank you. So we are assembled here for this, and this is also part of the 75th year of the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. And just to give you a glimpse of how Indian Institute of Astrophysics can contribute to research and training. So this is a simple history. It started off in 1786 with the observatory in Madras, current Chennai. Then it began for its formal operations with observations in Nungambakam, Chennai. Then it became observatory at Kodaikanal in 1899, and we have the data of the sun for more than 100 years, 120 years it is preserved. So this is we have a treasure trove of the sun's data which could be used and is already publicly available. The point is how we connect the users to the data. So that is one prime initiative. And it became the observatory became the autonomous body under the Science and Technology Ministry, and it became autonomous in 1971. The headquarters moved to Bangalore, and we celebrated the Silver Jubilee, the Golden Jubilee in April 2021. So the Indian Institute of Astrophysics is an autonomous institute under the Department of Science and Technology. Its growth is supported and guided by the Department of Science and Technology since 1971. Now, to give you a glimpse of the campuses we have, we are used to operating multiple campuses across the country, right from the southern parts, which is Bangalore. We have 2 campuses. In Karnataka, 1 more, which is in Gauribidanur, and we have our heritage campus in Kodaikanal. There's another one near Vellore, which is the Kavalur, which has got nighttime telescopes. We have 3 field stations in the university, UT Ladakh, Leh, Hanle, and Merak. And this is, we operate a telescope at 4,500 meters above sea level for the last 20 years, which is remotely operated. So the fruits of all this can be brought to the users through a center. So that is what is envisaged. These are the footprints on the ground. We also have footprints, basically space telescopes. So we are operating a UV telescope in orbit. It is operated for the last 6 years. We are going to launch the Aditya L1 mission with ISRO, and a major payload is developed there. And we also host the coordination center for the 30-meter telescope, which is a mega project. So that the coordination center is hosted at IIA. Just to give you pictures of where we are field stations, you can see the blue sky of Hanle. It is remotely operated from Hosakote, which is in Karnataka. These are the 2 telescopes in Kavalur, and actually the aerial picture. This is a dipole array, which you would have, if the older generation would remember the telephone antenna, sorry, the TV antenna on top. So it's a similar array. It is to detect the signals from the sun. This is the space telescope, which is in orbit for the last 6 years, and this is the Kodaikanal Observatory. One of the telescopes have provided more than 100 years of data. So that will be definitely used, and is already publicly available, but the training tools and techniques will be provided here. So the Cosmos deals with education, training, and popularization of science to the society at large. And astronomical events, that particularly actually enthuses a lot of people, and that is the time when people start asking critical questions, and then you can actually understand the universe where we are in. These are the telescopes and the viewing pictures over here. What the Cosmos can do, it'll have a high-tech planetarium for education and research. It'll have actually technically advanced. This will be the first of its kind in the country to have a Domex LED dome. The displays are extremely highly technically advanced, and it will give you the real feel of night sky even during daytime. So that is the idea. And the Domex screen is driven by Digistar 7. It actually takes the data from the archival telescopes as well as archival data and the current telescopes and project it. So it is ideal it is state of art so that it can inspire the young minds. The location for it is, we are right here in the campus of the University of Mysore, Chamundi Hill campus. The project is supported under the MP Lakh's fund of Srimati Nirmala Sitaramanji, and we are really thankful for her to initiating this project through her funding, and that was basically the seal of the entire thing, and the energy coming out of that is actually being reverberated here. We already have some money from that particular fund, 2 crores through DC Mysore. Additional support is provided by the Department of Science and Technology, Department of Atomic Energy, and Department of Space. And the entire thing is steered and guided and supported by the Principal Scientific Advice, PSA, Professor Vijay Raghavan. And the proposed budget is about 80 crore. So this is steered by so how does it work? It is right now steered by the Scientific Advisory Board. The project management unit is set up at the Indian Institute of Astrophysics. The IA and the University of Mysore, thanks to Professor Hemanta Kumar for signing the MOU. And we already have started working on a unified way for education and outreach. And the team is already working on it. And we are thankful to the university for extending this land for setting up the center. The Cosmos is guided by the Principal Scientific Advisor and supported by the Department of Atomic Energy and Department of Science and Technology, and we are very grateful for all of them being present here for this occasion. The Cosmos outreach team is pulled together. Today is indeed a milestone in the setting up of the Cosmos, because we have the Honorable Union Finance Minister laying the foundations for the center. So we envisage that with this start point, we'll ramp up the activities and set it up in a year and a plus from now. So this is indeed a milestone moment for this particular project. We also have the first public talk on the Cosmos right here today. So we are starting the activities as such. So this is the overall timeline of the project, and we hope that the integrated commissioning and handing over of the entire system for operations will happen by March 2023. This is an aggressive timeline, and we hope that all the agencies involved will work together as a team to move it ahead and complete the project for the benefit of all of us as well as the students. So, highlights. First planetarium in the university campus. This is a model for the future. A training ground for school and college students. It will also provide training, hands-on training on data products from archival data on ground and space telescopes, various space missions and experiments on data science, tools and techniques. And participation in remote observations using Indian telescopes, summer and winter schools and short projects and internships. It will also provide field visits to the students, to observatories and laboratories, which will be an experience to the students. Heritage of astronomy in the Karnataka, South India and India will also be portrayed. So we are integrating our tradition, culture and our understanding what was the heritage and the future to whatever is upcoming in the next decade. So preparing ourselves for the future. So that's all from my side. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Madam Annapurni Subramaniam, for giving us a brief history of different observatories locating in Karnataka, and also for explaining the benefits of the Cosmos project. Now I request Professor Vijay Raghavan, FRS, to deliver his address. He is an emeritus professor and former director of the National Center for Biological Sciences. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Namaskara. Honorable Union Finance Minister, Srimati Nirmala Sitaramanji, Professor G. Hemant Kumar, Vice Chancellor of the University of Mysore, Professor Annapurni Subramaniam, Director of the Indian Institute of Astrophysics, Honorable Member of Parliament Shri Pratap Simha, Dr. K.N. Vyas, Chairman, Department of Atomic Energy, Dr. S. Chandrasekhar, Secretary, Department of Science and Technology, Dr. Shivappa, and our speaker who is going to follow, Professor Sujan Sengupta. This is a momentous occasion, and I don't think such a structure and interaction which is being proposed is there anywhere in the world. So what is being proposed is not just a planetarium, but something far more interesting and complex. Now, the entire credit for the idea goes to Honorable Finance Minister Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman ji. Usually when someone from finance calls up, it is trouble. But Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman ji has been calling up proactively on science constantly. And this is the latest example, preceded by the artificial intelligence mission, the quantum mission, the supercomputing mission, and so on and so forth. In this case, she called up one day and said that why is there not a structure where students can come, look at the skies, but also analyze the data which is coming from the skies from all kinds of telescopes, and use that data analytical capability both to become world leaders in astronomy, but also become experts in data sciences, artificial intelligence, and machine learning, so that not only can they become astronomers and cosmologists, but they are competitive in any sector from finance to mathematics to chemistry to biology and so on. So this was the inspiration. After that, the Department of Science and Technology, which is the nodal ministry for the Indian Institute for Astrophysics, and the Department of Atomic Energy, which has anchored many major science missions, including most recently the Laser Interferometric Gravitational Observatory, we had a meeting with all of them, and they decided to partner together and develop this. Now, one important point is, as mentioned earlier, there are planetaria all over the country and all over the world. Students rightly come there, they get simulations of the skies, and they have a very great time. This one is going to be different for two reasons. One, it is anchored along with the university system, such as Mysore University. And because of that, the second reason is that it is going to be a hands-on experimental place where you can, in addition to being in the planetarium, you can see data, you can get data live from great telescopes all over India and soon all over the world. So in other words, you can get observational time on telescopes just like any scientist can. Secondly, the archival data and the new data coming from such telescopes are not easy to handle and understand. And there's an enormous amount of information there which really makes it, a useful mine, a gold mine for data analysis. And this kind of a data analysis you see in astronomy and astrophysics, you see in biology, but it's got applications in transport, health, agriculture, and finance. So the excitement of the skies, which humans have always found really thrilling, is something which will be translated both to our understanding and our applications in different periods. I'd like to end by a very simple statement. Throughout human history, knowledge has been power. Those who have had knowledge have had power. Sadly, knowledge has been exclusive. Today, there is a great opportunity through such ventures, stimulated by the Honorable Finance Minister, to democratize the access to knowledge, not only at a basic level, but at a high level. Such democratizations empower people and make them world leaders and prevent the concentration of knowledge. And therefore, as we go ahead to a world dominated by artificial intelligence and computer science and so on, and the use of data, you are not beholden to a small number of big companies, but you also share in that power. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. helpful to the people of Karnataka in general and the people of Kodagu and Mysore region in particular. He knows how to nurture his constituency and win the love and affection of his electors. He has a special bond with our university, which is the alma mater of almost all the universities in Karnataka. Now I request our Member of Parliament, Shri Pratap Simha, to give his address.
ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನನ್ನ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರಗಳು. ನಮ್ಮ ಮೈಸೂರು ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯದ ವ್ಯಾಪ್ತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹೊಸದಾಗಿ ನಿರ್ಮಾಣವಾಗ್ತಿರುವಂತಹ ಈ ಕಾಸ್ಮೋಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ಪ್ಲಾನೆಟೋರಿಯಂನ ಶಂಕುಸ್ಥಾಪನೆಗೆ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸೇರಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಈ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಇವತ್ತು ಇಡೀ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಶತಮಾನೋತ್ಸವವನ್ನು ಆಚರಣೆಯನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿರುವಂತಹ ಕೇವಲ 4 ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದಾಗಿರುವಂಥ ನಮ್ಮ ಮೈಸೂರು ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯವನ್ನು ಸ್ಥಾಪನೆಯನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿದಂತಹ ನಾಲ್ವಡಿ ಕೃಷ್ಣರಾಜ ಒಡೆಯರನ್ನು ಬಹಳ ಧನ್ಯತೆಯಿಂದ ಕೃತಜ್ಞತೆಯಿಂದ ನೆನಪು ಮಾಡಿಕೊಳ್ತಾ, ಶಂಕುಸ್ಥಾಪನೆಗೆ ಆಗಮಿಸಿರುವಂತಹ ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಸಚಿವರು, ಈ ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದ ರೂವಾರಿ, ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಆಯೋಜನೆ ಆಗಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಮೂಲ ಕಾರಣೀಭೂತರಾಗಿರುವಂತಹ ನಿರ್ಮಲಾ ಸೀತಾರಾಮನ್ ಮೇಡಮ್ ಅವರೇ, ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮವನ್ನು ಆಯೋಜನೆ ಮಾಡುವಲ್ಲಿ ಬಹುವಾಗಿ ಶ್ರಮಿಸಿರುವಂತಹ ನಮ್ಮ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯದ ಕುಲಪತಿಗಳಾಗಿರುವಂತಹ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಹೇಮಂತ್ ಕುಮಾರ್ ಅವರೇ, ಇದರ ಹಿಂದೆ ಬಹುವಾಗಿ ಶ್ರಮಿಸಿರುವಂತಹ ಹಾಗೂ ಈ ಪ್ಲಾನೆಟೋರಿಯಂ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಹೊರಹೊಮ್ಮಲಿದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಮಾಹಿತಿಯನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಕೊಟ್ಟಂತಹ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿನಲ್ಲಿರುವಂತಹ ಭಾರತೀಯ ಖಗೋಳ ಭೌತಶಾಸ್ತ್ರ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯ ನಿರ್ದೇಶಕರು ಆಗಿರುವಂತಹ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಅನ್ನಪೂರ್ಣಿ ಸುಬ್ರಹ್ಮಣ್ಯಂ ಅವರೇ, ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಅಪಾರವಾದಂತಹ ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಸರ್ಕಾರದ ಅನುದಾನವನ್ನು ನಿರ್ಮಲಾ ಸೀತಾರಾಮನ್ ಮೇಡಮ್ ಅವರ ನಿರ್ದೇಶನದ ಮೇರೆಗೆ ನೀಡ್ತಾ ಇರುವಂತಹ ಮತ್ತು ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗಮಿಸಿರುವಂತಹ ಭಾರತ ಸರ್ಕಾರದ ವೈಜ್ಞಾನಿಕ ಸಲಹೆಗಾರರು ಆಗಿರುವಂತಹ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ವಿಜಯ್ ರಾಘವನ್ ಅವರೇ, ಭಾರತ ಸರ್ಕಾರದ ಅಟಾಮಿಕ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ವಿಭಾಗದ ಕಾರ್ಯದರ್ಶಿಗಳು ಆಗಿರುವಂತಹ KN ವ್ಯಾಸ ಅವರೇ, ವಿಜ್ಞಾನ ಮತ್ತು ತಂತ್ರಜ್ಞಾನ ಇಲಾಖೆಯ ಕಾರ್ಯದರ್ಶಿಗಳಾಗಿರುವಂಥ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ S ಚಂದ್ರಶೇಖರ್ ಅವರೇ, ನಮ್ಮ ಮೈಸೂರು ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯದ ಕುಲಸಚಿವರಾಗಿರುವಂತಹ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ R ಶಿವಪ್ಪನವರೇ, ಹಾಗೆ ನಿರ್ದೇಶಕರಾಗಿರುವಂಥ NK ಲೋಕನಾಥ್ ಅವರೇ, ಮೈಸೂರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಳ್ಳೆಯ ಕೆಲಸ ಆಗಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ ಕೂಡ ಮಾನ್ಯ ಜಿಲ್ಲಾಧಿಕಾರಿಗಳ ಸಹಕಾರ ಬೇಕೇ ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣವಾಗಿ ಮೈಸೂರಿನ ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿಗೆ ಸಹಕಾರವನ್ನು ನೀಡ್ತಿರುವಂತಹ ನಮ್ಮ ಮಾನ್ಯ ಜಿಲ್ಲಾಧಿಕಾರಿಗಳಾದಂತಹ ಬಗಾಡಿ ಗೌತಮ್ ಅವರೇ, ವೇದಿಕೆ ಮುಂಭಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಆಸೀನರಾಗಿರುವಂತಹ ಹಾಗೂ ಒಂದು ರೀತಿ ಬಂಡೀಪುರ ಅಭಯಾರಣ್ಯ ಥರ ಇದ್ದಂತಹ ಮೈಸೂರು ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯ ಗಂಗೋತ್ರಿ ಕ್ಯಾಂಪಸ್ಸನ್ನು ಹೊಸ ಹೊಸ ಕಟ್ಟಡಗಳ ಮುಖಾಂತರವಾಗಿ ಇವತ್ತು ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಚಟುವಟಿಕೆಶೀಲವಾಗಿರುವಂಗೆ ಮಾಡಿದಂತಹ ಮಾಜಿ ಕುಲಪತಿಗಳು ಆದಂತಹ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ರಂಗಪ್ಪನವರೇ, ವೇದಿಕೆ ಮುಂಭಾಗ ಆಸೀನರಾಗಿರುವಂತಹ ನಮ್ಮ ರಾಮಕೃಷ್ಣ ಮಠದ ಯತಿಗಳಾದಂತಹ ಮುಕ್ತಿದಾನಂದ ಸ್ವಾಮೀಜಿಯವರೇ, ಹಾಗೂ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೆರೆದಿರುವಂಥ ಎಲ್ಲ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳೇ ಹಾಗೂ ನಮ್ಮ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯದ ಎಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರಾಧ್ಯಾಪಕ ವೃಂದದವರೇ ಹಾಗೂ ನನ್ನ ಮಾಧ್ಯಮ ಮಿತ್ರರೇ, ಮೇಡಮ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಒಂದೆರಡು ಮಾತನ್ನು ಆಡಬೇಕು. ಮೇಡಮ್ ಇವತ್ತು ಭಾಳ ಅನ್ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್. ಮೇಡಮ್ಗೆ ಕನ್ನಡನೂ ಕೂಡ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಹಾಗೆ ಅವರು ಪಾರ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡುವಾಗಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಯಾರು ತಮಿಳ್ನಾಡವ್ರು ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ತಮಿಳಲ್ಲೂ ಉತ್ತರ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ, ತೆಲುಗಲ್ಲೂ ಉತ್ತರ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ನಮ್ಮ ದಕ್ಷಿಣ ಭಾರತದಿಂದ ಹೋಗಿ ಹಿಂದಿಯಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಒಬ್ಬ ಹಣಕಾಸು ಖಾತೆ ಸಚಿವೆಯಾಗಿ ಅದರಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಉತ್ತರವನ್ನು ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷನ್ನಂತೂ ಕರಗತ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಹೀಗೆ ಹಲವಾರು ಭಾಷೆಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾತಾಡುವಂತಹ ಕೆಲವು ರಾಜಕಾರಣಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಮೇಡಮ್ ಕೂಡ ಒಬ್ಬರು. ಇವತ್ತು ಅನಿರೀಕ್ಷಿತವಾಗಿ ಮೇಡಮ್ ಒಂದು ರೀತಿ 81 crores ಒಂದು ನಮಗೆ ಪ್ಲಾನೆಟೋರಿಯಮನ್ನು ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ನಮಗೆ ಕೂಡ ನೆನಪು ಗೊತ್ತಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಯಾರ ಅರಿವಿಗೂ ಬಾರದ ಹಾಗೆ ಒಂದು ಒಳ್ಳೆಯ ಕೆಲಸವನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಮೇಡಮ್ ಮಂಗಳೂರಿಗೆ ಹೋದಾಗ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಪ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ಯುಬೇಷನ್ ಸೆಂಟರ್ನ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದರು 2017. ನಮ್ಮ ಮೈಸೂರಿಗೆ ಏನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಅಂದ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮಂಗಳೂರಿಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ರು ಅಂತ ಒಂದಿತ್ತು. ಆದರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಮೈಸೂರಿಗೆ ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ವೆಚ್ಚದ ಒಂದು ಪ್ಲಾನೆಟೋರಿಯಂ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಸಹಜವಾಗಿ ನಮಗೆ ಖುಷಿ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ನಾನು ಆನ್ ಬಿಹಾಫ್ ಆಫ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ಮೈಸೂರಿಯನ್ ಐ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಹರ್. ಮೇಡಮ್, ಐ ಆಮ್ ರಿಯಲಿ ಗ್ರೇಟ್ಫುಲ್ ಟು ಯು. ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಎ ಅನ್ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಗಿಫ್ಟ್ and it is going to help a lot of our youngsters, madam. Thank you very much. Madam Finance Minister, madam ige ondu helbeku anta helidre, see, when we get up in the morning, either we look at the photos of our parents or the deities or someone who is beloved to us. When we get up, some people will say, there is a mantra in Sanskrit, Karagre Vasate Lakshmi, Karamadhye Saraswati, Karamule Stite Gauri Prabhate Karadarshanam. It only means, Karagre, in the fingertips you have Lakshmi, in the middle you have Saraswati, in the wrist you have Durgi. For money, for knowledge, for strength. The finance minister, she epitomizes all these three strengths. From 2013 to 2018-19, India was one among fragile 5 economies. After 2019, she has taken our country from fragile 5 to most favored few. ಅದು ನಿರ್ಮಲಾ ಸೀತಾರಾಮನ್ ಅವರ ಶಕ್ತಿಯನ್ನು ತೋರಿಸ್ತದೆ. ಇವತ್ತು ಚೈನಾದ ಎಕನಾಮಿನೂ ಕೂಡ 5.4%ನಲ್ಲಿ ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿನ ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶದ ಎಕನಾಮಿ ಅಷ್ಟೇ 9.2% GDP ಗ್ರೋತ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಇವತ್ತು ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿ ಹೊಂದುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರೆಡಿಕ್ಷನ್ ಬಂದಿದೆ. ನಮ್ಮ ಮೈಸೂರಿನವರೇ ಆದಂಥ ಗೀತಾ ಗೋಪಿನಾಥನ್ ಅವರು IMFದು ಡೆಪ್ಯೂಟಿ ಚೀಫ್ ಕೂಡ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅವರು ಕೂಡ ಬಂದು 9% ಗ್ರೋತ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಪ್ರೆಡಿಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ, ಇದಕ್ಕೆಲ್ಲ ಸೋಲಿ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸಿಬಲ್ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಅದು ಮೇಡಮ್. ಅಷ್ಟು ಒಳ್ಳೆಯ ಕೆಲಸವನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇವತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮ ಮೈಸೂರಿಗೆ ಬಂದು ಒಳ್ಳೆಯ ಗಿಫ್ಟನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಮೇಡಮ್, I take this opportunity to throw light on few developmental projects we got under Modi's prime ministership, madam. Madam, when I got elected in 2014, the airport where you landed, it was completely non-functional. Now we have given connectivity to 7 destinations, and we are all set to expand the Mysore runway from 1.75 kilometers to 2.8 kilometers, and Modi ji is giving over 1,000 crores through Airport Authority of India, madam. And because of his ambitious Uday Desh Ka Aam Nagarik and Udan project, we got this airport functional, madam. Not just that, madam, you are going to visit Bangalore after this program. Please travel in the same alignment. Now we are constructing, we are all set to complete the work by October 2022. Madam, for this one project, Modi ji personally came to Mysore in 2018. He announced it in front of Mysoreans on 2018 February 19th. The very next day, the Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs chaired by the Prime Minister, they gave the approval for this project, and we are spending, madam, 9,500 crores for 118 kilometers. In terms of the length and the money we are investing, it is the biggest project, madam. And all thanks to Modi ji. And recently, we have announced one more project, one more national highway from Mysore to Kushalnagar worth 4,000 crores. Madam, we have almost completed the Software Technology Park of India at a cost of 30 crores. And we have given Institute of Eminence for All India Institute of Speech and Hearing, and Modi ji gave us 86 crore. With that money, we have constructed 275,000 square foot brand new building, madam. And Modi ji was kind enough to sanction one multimodal logistic park, and we are going to complete this project by the end of this year, madam. We have set almost 6 projects to be inaugurated or to lay the foundation by the end of this year, madam. Modi ji gave us projects worth nearly 17,000 crores for Mysore, madam. Today, you gave us the planetarium worth 81,000 crores. It's like icing on the cake. I am really grateful to you, madam. ಮೇಡಮ್, ನೀವು ಫೈನಾನ್ಸ್ ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಆಗಿ ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶವನ್ನು ಇಷ್ಟು ಚಂದವಾಗಿ ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿಯನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರಿ, ನಮಗೆ ಭಾಳ ಖುಷಿ. ಒಬ್ಬ ಮೇಡಮ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಹೇಳಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ಕೊಡಗಿಗೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದರು ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ ಆದಾಗ. ಆವತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಏರ್ಫೋರ್ಸಿಂದ 3 ಏರ್ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಹೆಲಿಕಾಪ್ಟರ್ನ ಕಳಿಸಿ ಇವ್ಯಾಕ್ಯುವೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಮೇಡಮ್ ನಮಗೆ ಅವಕಾಶ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ರು. ಆನಂತರ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ ಆದಾಗ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಹೈವೇನ ಕೊಚ್ಚಿ ಹೋಯಿತು. ಆ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು PRO, ಬಾರ್ಡರ್ ರೋಡ್ ಆರ್ಗನೈಜೇಷನ್ ಒಂದು ಟೀಮನ್ನು ಕಳಿಸಿ ನಮಗೆ ದೇ ಗೇವ್ ಅಸ್ ದಿ ಡಿಸೈನ್. ಅವರಿಗೆ ನಮಗೆ ಸಜೆಷನ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ ಇವತ್ತು ನಮಗೆ ಒಂದು ಆಲ್ ವೆದರ್ ರೋಡನ್ನು ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ಮಡಿಕೇರಿ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸಂಪಾಜೆ ನಾವು ನಿರ್ಮಾಣ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ವಿ, ಆಲ್ ರಿಟೈನಿಂಗ್ ವಾಲ್ಸ್ನ. ಅವತ್ತು ಮೇಡಮ್ ಕಳಿಸಿದಂಥ BRO ಟೀಮ್ ನಮಗೆ ಆ ಡಿಸೈನನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದು. ಎಲ್ಲ ವಿಷಯದಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ನಮ್ಮ ಮೇಡಮ್ ನಮಗೆ ಮೈಸೂರಿಗೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಈ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಮೇಡಮಿಗೆ ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ಸಾರಿ ನಾನು ಧನ್ಯವಾದವನ್ನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ, ನಿಮಗೆ ಇಷ್ಟು ಒಳ್ಳೆಯ ಕೆಲಸವನ್ನು ಮೈಸೂರು ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯಕ್ಕೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಮೋದಿಜಿ ಸರ್ಕಾರದಿಂದ ಏನು ನಮಗೆ ಕೊಡುಗೆ ಕೊಡ್ಬೋದು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡೋಷ್ಟೊಳಗಡೆ ನೀವು 81 ಕ್ರೋರ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಪ್ಲಾನೆಟೋರಿಯಂ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ರಿ. ಇದ್ರ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಕೂಡ ಇನ್ನೂ ಕೂಡ ಎಸ್ಕಲೇಟ್ ಆಗಿ 100 crore ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನೀವು ಅನುಕೂಲವನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಿದ್ರಿ. ಮೇಡಮ್, ಐ ಟೇಕ್ ದಿಸ್ ಆಪರ್ಚುನಿಟಿ ಟು ರಿಕ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್ ಮೋರ್ ಥಿಂಗ್, ಮೇಡಮ್, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ Vijay Raghavanji is here. Sir, from last 1 year, we are waiting for Nidhi TBI, madam. TBI, sir. You have not yet announced it. From DST, they'll have to announce. They have not yet called the application, sir. Sir, for Mysore University, we want to have an incubation center for Mysore, sir. And we need your blessings. And, madam, I request you, when they announce that project, please, help us to get that project for Mysore. For Mysore, it's a university, it has 100 years of history, but we don't have an incubation center. It is going to help our children. It's also going to help our young generation, madam. So once they call the application, I'll come and approach you, madam. Please put a word and help us to get an incubation center for Mysore. ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ಸಾರಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದು ಮಾತಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅವಕಾಶ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಟ್ಟೆ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಒಂದ್ಸಿ ಈ ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಮುಖ್ಯ ರೂವಾರವಾಗಿರುವಂಥ ಮೇಡಮಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ನಾನು ಮೈಸೂರಿಗರ ಪರವಾಗಿ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ವಂದಿಸಿ ನನ್ನ ಮಾತನ್ನು ಮುಗಿಸ್ತೀನಿ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು.
Thank you very much, sir. Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman ji reminds us of the orators of a bygone era by her choice of words and the force of presentation. The way the Honorable Minister analyzes even the most complex and intricate financial matters inspires even the laypersons to listen to her and understand the issues in a much better light. I request the Honorable Union Minister, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman ji, to unveil the foundation stone and water the plant. This particular sapling, champak, I request all the dignitaries and the dais to join madam. request Madam Nirmala Sitharamanji to address the gathering. The photographers are catching the most momentous moment of the occasion. I request Professor Vyas to join the group, please. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been waiting for this moment. Madam is going to deliver the address.
అందరికీ నమస్కారాలు. Honorable Member of Parliament Shri Pratap Simhaji, Principal Scientific Advisor to the Government Professor K. Vijayaraghavan, Secretary, Department of Atomic Energy, K.N. Vyas, Secretary, Department of Science and Technology, Dr. S. Chandrasekhar, Professor Annapurni Subramanian, Director of the Indian Institute of Astrophysics in Bangalore, Professor G. Hemanta Kumar, Honorable Vice Chancellor, University of Mysore, Professor N. Lokanath, Director of PMEB, University of Mysore, Professor R. Shivappa, Registrar, University of Mysore, former Vice Chancellor of Mysore, and Swami Muktananda of the Ramakrishna Mutt, faculty, University of Mysore, scientists and invited guests of the scientific community, but most importantly, the students and young minds who have all come here for this occasion today, the media which has taken a keen interest on this project. I welcome all of you all. As much as the Vice Chancellor has welcomed me, equally I welcome all of you because University of Mysore stands for something which is very unique. It's proven itself as a very good, very well-rooted university imparting knowledge. And I'm very proud of this university. This university has silently achieved several great distinctions. Now, as an MP representing Karnataka, and also as a citizen of India, I've observed the University of Mysore for very many of its distinctive qualities. And as an MP of Karnataka, I repeat, there are several things that one undertakes, some very small, which is of very big importance for the local area, some which makes a big difference to the youth of the country. Sometimes it's the grievance of some land owners who have given land for some projects who have not got the money in time. And some other times it just could be laying a few roads within that little money you have, and so on, which every MP does and does dutifully. I've also engaged in that kind of little help here, little help there. But there are times I've always had this thought in mind, isn't there something which we, as members of Parliament belonging to a state, do something which can help the forthcoming generations. Help generations, not just this one, but several more, in carrying that great heritage, great knowledge, which India has carefully built over the centuries. Now, in the process, as I was looking for ideas so that I can put some effort towards it, I must thank my former PS, meaning my personal secretary, who is a Karnataka cadre IAS officer, who was with me, serving me as a PS, and who's now got promoted and shifted from the duties that he had in my office to a different department. He was the first one to say, why don't you think of setting up some planetarium, madam? So we started working. That was about 2 years ago, just as COVID set in. Then we looked at the various ways of setting in a planetarium, a small one. After all, how much money does a member of parliament have under her area development funding? So within that, the kind of planetarium that we can set up, we spent a lot of time thinking about it, but it wasn't going to be a big one, because with the money that I have, after all, it cannot do a big difference to a place. Then we spent a lot of time, and at one stage, I requested Professor Vijay Raghavan to see if he can put some ideas into our plan and help us if we can do something meaningfully. Professor Vijay Raghavan, of course, is dealing with the national level issues, and for him, it wasn't a big deal to think in terms of a big scale planetarium which can serve in today's time with latest equipment and so on. I was aghast at what can be done, but I was also worried as to how that is going to find the light of the day, because I wasn't going to be able to fund it all on my own. But again, that's where the secretaries belonging to 3 different departments, guided by Professor Vijay Raghavan, all came together and said it is possible from that small idea to have something big done, but how do we do it? Where do we do it? That's where I am immensely grateful to the University of Mysore for having come forward to say, we'll give you the land, set it up in our campus, and what big start can there be for a project if land is given and in a very appropriate place. Where else can a Cosmos Center be located but than in a university? So I was seeing a cosmic play in this. And Swamiji is here. I can't be talking in these, on these matters. I'm nobody here. But I saw a cosmic plan which is putting everything together for germinating a small idea that I had, saying we should do something which will help the generations to come and also the young who need hands-on experience in certain things which are otherwise only exclusively available for few people. So I'm immensely grateful for the kind of beautiful coordination that has happened between University of Mysore, Professor Vijay Raghavan, the Secretary of Atomic Energy, Secretary of Space, and Department of Science and Technology. It's fantastic to, as an example, to showcase how when government departments work together, they can come up with something which is going to be so beautiful, so unthinkable otherwise, and ready for everybody to use. So I'm grateful. I bow my head in thanking them for having brought all this together. And the singular anchor in this whole thing was Professor Annapurni. She patiently worked together with everyone, gave her knowledge component, all of them also supported. We gradually mopped up all the money which is required. 81 crores is not small, because when you're looking at a planetarium and the investment all going towards one project, it all happened. So the years spent in COVID, if I can say, has resulted in something which is going to be so good for Mysore. So COVID, my time, all their time has resulted in such a beautiful outcome for the city of Mysore, for the University of Mysore. So I'm very grateful for every one of their contribution, support, and the way in which they've dedicated to have this come to a reality. I don't need to go into what cosmos is, but randomly I've been putting across my thoughts to Professor Vijayaraghavan, who I used to call at random times and said, no, I want to talk to you. Irrespective of where he was, he would take the call. And I said, I'm not calling as finance minister, please, I'm calling as MP from Karnataka. I want this project done. But he would contribute, and the random thoughts that I had was, if somebody is sitting in Delhi, and this is for students to please hear this out, if somebody sitting in Delhi can watch a beautiful sky, midnight sky, dark night, but beautiful sky that you can see, as seen in Ladakh, that time, in real time, that minute, you sit in Delhi and watch it, but as though you're watching sitting in Leh or some corner of Ladakh, because that gets the beautiful, elevated, undisturbed, no glare, no extra lighting from the earth, you can see the sky. You see so beautifully. I said, why can't that experiment be, or experience be recreated anywhere else? Like a lay person, I was telling him that. But he said there is a way in which it can happen. If Ladakh sky can be viewed from Delhi, it can be viewed from Mysore as well. Technology helps us. That is one thing. Second, for over 100 years, even during British time, I think, this center was set up in Kodaikanal, and that Kodaikanal center has been collecting data looking at sky, and it has absolutely, the observatory has absolutely so much of data, which today can be made available for all of us, and also benefit from what they see, what do they observe. So that facility also can come in here. So it's not just a planetarium for which all of you are gathered. A planetarium, yes, but more than a planetarium. It is going to give you all the data that you can use. And today, everybody uses a cliche, a fancy cliche. Data is the new oil. Data may be the new oil, but if you don't know to use that data, what use is it to have it and say it's the new oil, but I don't know how to use it? So we need to have a center where real-time data, which is related to so much of astrophysics, is available to you. Not just today's data, past data, everything is available to you. And you're able to use in a guided way with proper teacher, faculty, scientists helping you to say what that data really actually means. What can you use it for? How can you use it? And by using, what do you get as outcome? That is what is necessary for young minds. And once, just once, when you use it and see the outcome, it's a fantastic feeling. It's a moment of eureka for you. You can say, wow, is this what is there before me? And once you get the taste of that, you are building yourself in the right inquisitive way to be a great scientist. And I want India to have a lot more young scientists to have that advantage, to grow to become a scientist who can use her data in such a way it can benefit you, it can benefit the state, it can benefit the country, and it can benefit all humanity. So that, I thought, being located in Mysore is just the right thing, because Mysore has always stood for good learning ecosystem. I've always felt, wherever I lived, that Mysore was a place. Look at the number of writers, look at the number of artists, look at the creative geniuses who lived in Mysore. It's a little planet to itself, where learning becomes so charismatic. Learning is charismatic because the way it has been cultivated in Mysore, and it is affordable in Mysore. It's not like, some of those Ivy League places where learning happens, but you can't afford it, you can't go there, it's not accessible. Professor Vijayaraghavan used this word, democratize learning. Make it available for everybody. And make it available in such ways in which each person can utilize it, learn from it, and rejoice from it, because jnana is always something which gives you happiness. You may be in utter poverty. Look at the way some of the poets, some of the writers, they may not live in great luxury, but they live in joy, because they've learned so much in their cerebral capacity. It gives immense pleasure, of course, career progression and so on. So it's a very appropriate place. I really cannot communicate the joy that I have today in my mind. It's one of those things in which, as a member of parliament, you really can say it's all right. It is necessary to lay roads, build water tanks, and also make sure houses are reaching the poorest of poor, which is right, and we should do all that. But equally, we should provide facility for our young minds to learn, to access that which is otherwise not available for them. So in that way, I think today's beginning, and I'll look forward to the day, March 2023, when the Mysore MP, Pratap Simha, will be part of a session here to open up this cosmos, a beautiful center of learning, beautiful center for science, technology, learning, and therefore I'm very happy that I've been in some small way instrumental in getting this done. But as a final observation, I don't know how it has happened. I don't know, Vice Chancellor, how this has happened. I'm seeing a lot of girls here. Amazing, and I'm so happy. Girls in science achieve a lot more, and I'm not undermining the guys or the boys, but you girls are the ones who are going to bring color. The planet is full of color. The cosmos is full of color. Look at the Milky Way. They may call it Milky Way, it's all white, but little green, blue flickering here and there. That's what is all of you all. And I'm so happy you're here today for this function, and you're the ones who are going to make an immense change to its life. You want the cosmos to be active, energetically used by all children, by students, and I'm sure the small body which will run this place will ensure that students from all over the south and also from the north, why not, all over India should access and utilize what is being provided here. This is a great experience, and a little addition to the knowledge bank that India has. And when Prime Minister Modi says India is the Vishwa Guru, we need to give the knowledge to the world. It's not without substance. All of you all represent this. This is a small tool in your hand. Use it, benefit for yourself, benefit Karnataka for it, and benefit India for it. And I'm so happy to have been, in a very small way, a participant in this whole program. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
Madam, we are yet to visualize the magnitude and significance of what you have contemplated and granted. As you have rightly said, many generations of students will remain deeply indebted to you for your act of kindness. Watching the star-studded firmament in the real time, since you are nursing a poet within you, you have been able to find so many solutions to our burning problems of our country. Madam, as you have stressed throughout your speech, many great writers and poets lived in this blessed city. One such outstanding poet of the world, Kuvempu, probably one of the greatest contemporary poets of the world, lived here for 60 long years, and he won all the laurels for Kannada language. And I think what you have anticipated is perfectly true. We are indeed grateful to you for your wonderful, most memorable speech, and that is going to linger in our hearts and minds for very, very long time to come. Thank you very much, madam. Now I request Professor Loknath, the Director BMEB, to felicitate our honored guest, Madam Nirmala Sitharaman ji, the Union Finance Minister. The Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor G. Hemant Kumar, is the happiest man today because Madam has underlined the cosmic connection that took place. And Dr. Hemant Kumar, the Vice Chancellor, is a great believer in God, and he is a great worshipper of Goddess Chamundeshwari. Registrar Professor R. Shivappa is basically from the social work background. He has a significant experience in program design, planning, implementation, and introduction of innovative approaches in making the program owned by the people. His areas of expertise include participatory strategies like participatory rural appraisals, participatory learning and action, participatory monitoring wheel. I request our Registrar, Professor Shivappa, to propose a vote of thanks.
ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ಮೈಸೂರು ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯ 106 ವರ್ಷಗಳನ್ನು ಕಳೆದು ಅನೇಕ ಮೈಲುಗಲ್ಲುಗಳನ್ನು ವಿಜ್ಞಾನ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ, ಸಾಹಿತ್ಯ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ, ಭಾಷಾ ವಿಜ್ಞಾನ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ ಅನೇಕ ಮೈಲುಗಲ್ಲುಗಳನ್ನು ಸಾಧಿಸಿದೆ. ಇವತ್ತು ಕೂಡ ವಿಜ್ಞಾನ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ಮೈಲುಗಲ್ಲನ್ನು ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯ ಅಡಿ ಇಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣ ಸಹಕಾರವನ್ನು ಮತ್ತು ಹಣಕಾಸಿನ ನೆರವನ್ನು ಮತ್ತು ಬೌದ್ಧಿಕ ನೆರವನ್ನು ನೀಡಿರುವಂಥ ನಮ್ಮ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಸ್ಟ್ರೋಫಿಸಿಕ್ಸ್ನ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯ ನೆರವನ್ನು ನಾನು ಭಾಳ ವಿಶೇಷವಾಗಿ ನೆನೀಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟಪಡ್ತೇನೆ. ಇಂಥ ಒಂದು ಸಂದರ್ಭಕ್ಕೆ ಮೂಲ ಕಾರಣಕರ್ತರಾಗಿರುವಂಥ ನಮ್ಮ ಭಾರತ ಸರ್ಕಾರದ ಗೌರವಾನ್ವಿತ ಹಣಕಾಸು ಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳಾದಂಥ ನಿರ್ಮಲಾ ಸೀತಾರಾಮನ್ ಮೇಡಮ್ ಅವರು ಎಷ್ಟು ಸರಳರೋ ಅಷ್ಟು ವಿದ್ವತ್ ಜನರು ಅಂತ ಭಾರತದಾದ್ಯಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಿರುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಅವರು ನೋಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅಷ್ಟು ಸರಳವಾಗಿದ್ದರೂ ಕೂಡ ಅವರ ವಿಚಾರಧಾರೆ ಭಾಳ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರೌಢತೆಯಿಂದ, ಬೌದ್ಧಿಕತೆಯಿಂದ ಕೂಡಿರುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಈ ಎಲ್ಲ ಭಾರತದ ಉಜ್ವಲ ಭವಿಷ್ಯಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಕೆಲವು ಜನರು ತಮ್ಮ ಇಡೀ ಜೀವನವನ್ನು ಮುಡುಪಾಗಿಟ್ಟು ದುಡಿತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅಂಥವರಲ್ಲಿ ಮೇಡಮ್ ನಿರ್ಮಲಾ ಸೀತಾರಾಮನ್ ಕೂಡ ಒಬ್ಬರು. ಸೊ ಭಾರತ ಸರ್ಕಾರದ ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಒಂದು ಕೀ ಪೊಸಿಷನಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ಕೊಂಡು ಇಡೀ ಭಾರತದ ಆರ್ಥಿಕತೆಯನ್ನು ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿಯ ಕಡೆಗೆ ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇರುವಂಥವರು ನಮ್ಮ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯದ ಏಳ್ಗೆಯನ್ನು ಭಾಳ ಪ್ರೀತಿಯಿಂದ, ಅಕ್ಕರೆಯಿಂದ, ಕಾಳಜಿಯಿಂದ ಅವರು ನಮಗೆ ಇವತ್ತು ಈ ನೆರವನ್ನು ನೀಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಮತ್ತು ಅವರ ಭಾಷಣದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಕೇಳ್ಪಟ್ವಿ, ಉಜ್ವಲ ಭವಿಷ್ಯಕ್ಕಾಗಿ, ಯುವಜನರ ಏಳಿಗೆಗಾಗಿ, ಯುವಜನರ ಒಂದು ವೈಜ್ಞಾನಿಕ ಮನೋಸ್ಥಿತಿಯನ್ನು ಬೆಳೆಸಲಿಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಈ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ನ ನಾನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅನ್ನೋ ಥರದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನಾನು ನಿಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರ ಪರವಾಗಿ, ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯದ ಪರವಾಗಿ, ನಮ್ಮ ಮೈಸೂರು ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯದ ಗೌರವಾನ್ವಿತ ಕುಲಪತಿಗಳು, ಸಿಂಡಿಕೇಟ್ ಸದಸ್ಯರು, ಶೈಕ್ಷಣಿಕ ಮಂಡಳಿ ಸದಸ್ಯರು, ಎಲ್ಲರ ಪರವಾಗಿ, ಬೋಧಕರು, ಬೋಧಕೇತರ ಎಲ್ಲರ ಪರವಾಗಿ ಹೃದಯಪೂರ್ವಕವಾದಂಥ ವಂದನೆಗಳನ್ನು ನಮ್ಮ ನಿರ್ಮಲಾ ಸೀತಾರಾಮನ್ ಮೇಡಮ್ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ನಾನು ನಿಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರ ಪರವಾಗಿ ಹೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ತುಂಬ ಸಂತೋಷ ಅಂತ ಅನಿಸ್ತಿದೆ. ಈ ಒಂದು ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ತಾಂತ್ರಿಕವಾದಂಥ ಸಲಹೆಗಳನ್ನು ನೀಡ್ತಾ ಭಾರತ ಸರ್ಕಾರದ ಮಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ವಿಶೇಷ ಸಲಹೆ ಸೂಚನೆಗಳನ್ನು ಭಾರತ ಸರ್ಕಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಿನ್ಸಿಪಲ್ ಸೈಂಟಿಫಿಕ್ ಅಡ್ವೈಸರ್ ಆಗಿ ನೀಡ್ತಾ ಇರುವಂಥ ಭಾರತ ಸರ್ಕಾರಕ್ಕೆ, ಏಕೆಂದರೆ ಭಾರತ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿರುವಂಥ ಸಲಹೆ ಸೂಚನೆ ಕೊಡುವಂಥ ಅಧಿಕಾರಿಗಳು ಭಾಳ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಕೆಲಸವನ್ನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ, ದೂರದರ್ಶಿತ್ವ ಇರಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಆ ನಿಟ್ಟಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಕೆ ವಿಜಯರಾಘವನ್ ಅವರು ಭಾಳ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಕೆಲಸವನ್ನು ನಮ್ಮ ಭಾರತ ಮಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವರಿಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರ ಪರವಾಗಿ, ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯದ ಪರವಾಗಿ ಎಲ್ಲರ ನಾನು ಪ್ರೀತಿಯಿಂದ, ಗೌರವದಿಂದ ಅವರಿಗೆ ನಾನು ಈ ಗೌರವವನ್ನು ಅರ್ಪಿಸಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾನ್ಯ ಕುಲಪತಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ವಿನಂತಿಯನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ. ಶ್ರೀ ಪ್ರತಾಪ್ ಸಿಂಹ ಸರ್ ಅವರು ನಮಗೆಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಚಿರಪರಿಚಿತರು ಮತ್ತು ಮೈಸೂರು ಮತ್ತು ಕೊಡಗಿನ ಭಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಚಲನಶೀಲ ಸಂಸದರು ಮತ್ತು ಭಾರತದಾದ್ಯಂತ ಭಾಳ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಹೆಸರನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿರುವಂಥವರು. ಯುವ ಸಂಸದರಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ಹೆಸರು ಮುಂಚೂಣಿಯಲ್ಲಿದೆ. ಅವರು ನಮ್ಮ ಮೈಸೂರು ಮತ್ತು ಕೊಡಗಿನ ಭಾಗಕ್ಕೆ ಅನೇಕ ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿ ಕಾರ್ಯಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾಡುವಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತು ಮುಂದಾಲೋಚನೆಯಿಂದ ಎಲ್ಲರ ಜೊತೆಗೂಡಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರುವಂಥವರಲ್ಲಿ ಭಾಳ ಪ್ರಮುಖರಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವರು ಇವತ್ತು ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಕ್ಷೀಭೂತರಾಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಮತ್ತು ಎಷ್ಟು ಪ್ರೀತಿಯಿಂದ ಅವರು ನಮ್ಮ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಕೊಡುಗೆಗಳನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಮೇಡಮ್ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಮತ್ತು ಇನ್ಕ್ಯುಬೇಷನ್ ಸೆಂಟರ್ನ ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ಕೊಡಿ ಮೇಡಮ್ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಮೇಡಮ್ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ರಿಕ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ನಮಗೆ ಹೃದಯ ತುಂಬಿ ಬಂತು. ಸರ್, ನಿಮ್ಮ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯದ ಮೇಲೆ ಮತ್ತು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮೈಸೂರು, ಕೊಡಗು ಈ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರಗಳ ಮೇಲೆ, ಜನರ ಮೇಲೆ ಇಟ್ಟಿರುವಂಥ ಪ್ರೀತಿಗೆ ನಾನು ಆಭಾರಿಯಾಗಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯದ ಪರವಾಗಿ, ಎಲ್ಲರ ಪರವಾಗಿ ನಾನು ಹೃತ್ಪೂರ್ವಕವಾದ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾನ್ಯ ಕುಲಪತಿಗಳು, ಮಾನ್ಯ ಸಂಸದರಿಗೆ ಅರ್ಪಿಸಬೇಕು ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಹೃದಯಪೂರ್ವಕವಾಗಿ ನಾನು ಕೇಳ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ. ಇದೇ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಒಂದು ಐತಿಹಾಸಿಕ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಾಕ್ಷೀಕರಿಸಿದ ಮತ್ತು ಅನೇಕ ನೆರವನ್ನು ನೀಡಿರುವಂಥ, ತಮ್ಮ ಸಲಹೆ ಸೂಚನೆಗಳಿಂದ ನೀಡಿರುವಂಥ ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಟಾಮಿಕ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ, ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಸೆಕ್ರೆಟರಿ ಆಗಿರುವಂಥ ಶ್ರೀ KN ವ್ಯಾಸ್ ಅವರಿಗೆ ನಾನು ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯದ ಪರವಾಗಿ, ತಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರ ಪರವಾಗಿ ನಾನು ಹೃತ್ಪೂರ್ವಕವಾದಂಥ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳನ್ನು ಅರ್ಪಿಸಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬಯಸ್ತೇನೆ. ಇದೇ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ S ಚಂದ್ರಶೇಖರ್ ಅವರು ಸೆಕ್ರೆಟರಿ, ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿ, ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಿಂದ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸರ್, ಅವರ ಒಂದು ನಿರ್ದೇಶನದಲ್ಲಿ, ಅವರ ಒಂದು ಮಾರ್ಗದರ್ಶಿತ್ವದಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೆಲಸ ಕಾರ್ಯಗಳು DSTಯಿಂದ ನಮ್ಮ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯಕ್ಕೆ ಅನೇಕ ಯೋಜನೆಗಳನ್ನು ಕೊಡಿಸ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಭಾಳ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಕೆಲಸವನ್ನು ಅವ್ರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಬಂದ ತಕ್ಷಣವೇ ನಮ್ಮ ರಂಗಪ್ಪ ಸರ್ ಅವ್ರ ಜೊತೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ಎಷ್ಟು ಪ್ರೀತಿಯಿಂದ ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ದು ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯದ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಅತ್ಯಂತ ನಿಕಟವಾದ ಸಂಪರ್ಕವನ್ನು ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಮಗೆ ಇನ್ನೂ ಕೂಡ ಅನೇಕ ಯೋಜನೆಗಳನ್ನು ಕೊಡಿಸ್ಕೊಡುವಲ್ಲಿ ಗುರುತರವಾದಂಥ ಒಂದು ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿ ನಿರ್ವಹಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಈ ಒಂದು ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ವಿಶೇಷವಾಗಿ ನೆನೆದು ಮಾನ್ಯ ಕುಲಪತಿಗಳು ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ S ಚಂದ್ರಶೇಖರ್ ಅವರು ಕೂಡ ಪ್ರೀತಿಯಿಂದ ನಾವು ವಂದನೆಗಳನ್ನು ಸಲ್ಲಿಸಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟಪಡ್ತೇವೆ. ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದ ಮೇಲುಸ್ತುವಾರಿಯನ್ನು ವಹಿಸಿಕೊಂಡು ಕಳೆದ 4-6 ತಿಂಗಳುಗಳಿಂದ ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ, ಮಾನ್ಯ ಕುಲಪತಿಗಳ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಎವ್ರಿಡೇ ಒಂದು ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಕಾಲ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಾಂದರೆ ಒಂದು ಫೋನ್ ಚಾಟಿಂಗ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಒಂದು ಮೀಟಿಂಗ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಎವ್ರಿಡೇ ಅಥವಾ ಆಲ್ಟರ್ನೇಟಿವ್ ಡೇ ಮೇಡಮ್ಮು ಮತ್ತು ಅನ್ನಪೂರ್ಣಿ ಸುಬ್ರಹ್ಮಣ್ಯ ಮೇಡಮ್ ಅವರು ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಅನೇಕ ಭೇಟಿಗಳನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಈ ಜಾಗಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದು ನೋಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಅವರು ದೂರದರ್ಶಿತ್ವ, ಅವರ ಒಂದು ಬದ್ಧತೆ, ಅವರ ತೊಡಗಿಸಿಕೊಳ್ಳುವಿಕೆಯಿಂದಲೇ ಇವತ್ತು ಈ ಒಂದು ರೂಪಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದಿದೆ. ಮೇಡಮ್ ನಿರ್ಮಲಾ ಸೀತಾರಾಮನ್ ಮೇಡಮ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಅವರ ಒಂದು ಬದ್ಧತೆ ಬಗ್ಗೆ. ಅನ್ನಪೂರ್ಣಿ ಸುಬ್ರಹ್ಮಣ್ಯಂ ಮೇಡಮ್ ಅವರ ದೂರದರ್ಶಿತ್ವ ಮತ್ತು ಅವರ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ಷಮತೆಯಿಂದ ಈ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟು ಇಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೂ ಬಂದಿದೆ. ಇನ್ನು ಕೆಲವೇ ದಿನಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಇದು ಟೇಕ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಗಿ ಇದರ ಇನ್ನೂ ಪ್ರಗತಿಯನ್ನು ಕಾಣ್ತೀವಿ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮೂಲ ಕಾರಣಕರ್ತರಾಗಿರುವಂಥ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಅನ್ನಪೂರ್ಣಿ ಸುಬ್ರಹ್ಮಣ್ಯಂ ಮೇಡಮ್ ಅವರು ಮತ್ತು ಅವರ ಆಫೀಸ್ನ ಅವರ ಸಹೋದ್ಯೋಗಿ ಮಿತ್ರರು ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೂಡ ಸಹಕಾರ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ನಾವು ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯದ ಪರವಾಗಿ ನಾನು ಈಗ ನಿಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರ ಪರವಾಗಿ ನಾನು ಹೃತ್ಪೂರ್ವಕವಾದಂಥ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳನ್ನು ಅರ್ಪಿಸಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟಪಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಮಾನ್ಯ ಕುಲಪತಿಗಳು ಮತ್ತು ಸಂಸದರು ಮೇಡಮ್ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಗೌರವವನ್ನು ಸೂಚಿಸಬೇಕು ಅಂತೇಳಿ ನಾನು ಕೇಳ್ಕೊಳ್ತೇನೆ. ಮಾನ್ಯ ನಿರ್ಮಲಾ ಸೀತಾರಾಮನ್ ಮೇಡಮ್ ಅವರು ಗೌರವವನ್ನು ಸೂಚಿಸಬೇಕು ಅಂತ. ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಕರೆಗೆ ಹೋಗೊಟ್ಟು ಜಿಲ್ಲಾ ಅಧಿಕಾರಿಗಳಾದಂಥ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಬಗಾದಿ ಗೌತಮ್ ಸರ್ ಅವರು ನಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಮಾನ್ಯ ಪ್ರತಾಪ್ ಸಿಂಹ ಸರ್ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದರು, ಜಿಲ್ಲೆಯ ನೇತೃತ್ವವನ್ನು ವಹಿಸಿರುವಂಥವರು ಜಿಲ್ಲೆಯ ಆಗುಹೋಗುಗಳು, ದಿನನಿತ್ಯ ಚಟುವಟಿಕೆಗಳನ್ನು ಭಾಳ ಉತ್ಸುಕತೆಯಿಂದ ಮತ್ತು ಆಸ್ಥೆಯಿಂದ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಗುಹೋಗುಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಬದ್ಧತೆಯಿಂದ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರುವಂಥ ನಮ್ಮ ನೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಜಿಲ್ಲಾಧಿಕಾರಿಗಳಾದಂಥ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಬಗಾದಿ ಗೌತಮ್ ಸರ್ ಅವರು ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯದ ಪರವಾಗಿ ತಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರ ಪರವಾಗಿ ನಾನು ಎರಡೂ ಭಾರತ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಮತ್ತು ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಎಲ್ಲರ ಪರವಾಗಿ ಮಾನ್ಯ ಕುಲಪತಿಗಳು ಅವರಿಗೆ ವಿಶೇಷವಾದ ವಂದನೆಗಳನ್ನು ಹೇಳಬೇಕು ಅಂತೇಳಿ ನಾನು ಕೇಳ್ಕೊಳ್ತೇನೆ. ಪ್ರತಾಪ್ ಸಿಂಹ ಸರ್ ಅವರು ಕೂಡ ಜೊತೆ ಕೂಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ. ಈ ಥರದ ಒಂದು ಹಿಸ್ಟಾರಿಕಲ್ ಆದಂಥ ಈವೆಂಟಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಮೈಸೂರು ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯದ ಗೌರವವನ್ನು, ಘನತೆಯನ್ನು ಪ್ರಪಂಚದಾದ್ಯಂತ ಪರಿಚಯ ಮಾಡಿಸಿದಂಥ ಮತ್ತು ಒಂದು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಮೈಲುಗಲ್ಲನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿದಂಥ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯದ 100ನೇ ವರ್ಷವನ್ನು ಮಾನ್ಯ ಪ್ರಧಾನಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳನ್ನು ಕರೆಸಿ ಅವರಿಂದ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮವನ್ನು ಆಯೋಜನೆ ಮಾಡಿದಂಥ ನಮ್ಮ ಗೌರವಾನ್ವಿತ ನಿಷ್ಣಾಂತ ಕುಲಪತಿಗಳಾದಂಥ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ KS ರಂಗಪ್ಪ ಸರ್ ಅವರು ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಭಾಗಿಯಾಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ನಾನು ಅವರಿಗೆ ತಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರ ಪರವಾಗಿ ಭಾರತ ಸರ್ಕಾರ, ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಮತ್ತು ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯ ಎಲ್ಲರ ಪರವಾಗಿ ನಾನು ಹೃತ್ಪೂರ್ವಕವಾದ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾನ್ಯ ವಿಶ್ರಾಂತ ಕುಲಪತಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಕಲ್ಪಿಸಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟಪಡ್ತೇನೆ. ಇದೇ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ಮುಕ್ತಿತಾನಂದ ಮಹಾರಾಜ್ಜಿ ಅವರು ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ರಾಮಕೃಷ್ಣ ಪರಮ ಹಂಸರ ಅನುಯಾಯಿಗಳು ಮತ್ತು ಯತಿಗಳು, ಮೈಸೂರು ರಾಮಕೃಷ್ಣ ಮಠದ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಸ್ವಾಮೀಜಿಗಳು. ಅವರಿಗೆ ಅವರ ಆಶೀರ್ವಾದಕ್ಕೆ ಮತ್ತು ಅವರ ಈ ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮವನ್ನು ಸಾಕ್ಷೀಕರಿಸಿದ್ದಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ನಾನು ತಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರ ಪರವಾಗಿ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯದ ಪರವಾಗಿ ಹೃತ್ಪೂರ್ವಕವಾದ ವಂದನೆಗಳನ್ನು ಅರ್ಪಿಸಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟಪಡ್ತೇನೆ. ಹಾಗೆಯೇ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಮೈಸೂರು ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯದ ಗೌರವಾನ್ವಿತ ಸಿಂಡಿಕೇಟ್ ಸದಸ್ಯರುಗಳೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಅವರೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ನಾನು ಹೃತ್ಪೂರ್ವಕವಾದ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳನ್ನು ಅರ್ಪಿಸಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟಪಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಅಕಾಡೆಮಿಕ್ ಕೌನ್ಸಿಲ್ ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಮತ್ತು ಎಲ್ಲ ವಿಭಾಗಗಳ ಚೇರ್ಮನ್ಸು ಇಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸ್ನಾತಕೋತ್ತರ ವಿಭಾಗಗಳ ಚೇರ್ಮನ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಯೆಂಟ್ ಕಾಲೇಜುಗಳ ಪ್ರಾಂಶುಪಾಲರು ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಸ್ನಾತಕೋತ್ತರ ಕೇಂದ್ರಗಳ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ಗಳು, ಪ್ರಾಧ್ಯಾಪಕ ಮಿತ್ರರು ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಮತ್ತು ಎಲ್ಲ ಬೋಧಕರು, ಬೋಧಕೇತರ ವರ್ಗದವರು ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀರಿ. ಮತ್ತು ಎಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ ಪರ್ಸನ್ಸು ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆಯಿಂದಲೂ ತಾವು ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಿ. ನಮ್ಮ ಎಲ್ಲ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮವನ್ನು ಸಮಾಜಕ್ಕೆ ತೋರಿಸುವಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತು ಒಂದು ವಸ್ತುನಿಷ್ಠವಾದ ವರದಿಗಳನ್ನು ಸಮಾಜದೊಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಳ್ಳುವಲ್ಲಿ ಮೀಡಿಯಾವರ ಪಾತ್ರ ಬಹಳ ದೊಡ್ಡದಿದೆ. ಅವರು ಕೂಡ ಇವತ್ತು ಇಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಪ್ರಿಂಟ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ, ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ ಎಲ್ಲ ಥರದವರು. ಸೊ ಅವರೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೂಡ ನಾನು ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯದ ಪರವಾಗಿ ಹೃತ್ಪೂರ್ವಕವಾದ ವಂದನೆಗಳನ್ನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮವನ್ನು ಕಾಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದಂಥ ನಮ್ಮ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯದ ಭಾಳ ಗೌರವಾನ್ವಿತ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ಗಳಾಗಿ ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಲೇಷನಲ್ಲಿ ತಮ್ಮದೇ ಆದಂಥ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಹೆಸರನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿ ನಿಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರ ಮೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಪ್ರಾಧ್ಯಾಪಕ ಮಿತ್ರರಾದಂಥ ಹಿರಿಯರಾದಂಥ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ನಾಗಣ್ಣ ಸರ್ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ನಾನು ತಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರ ಪರವಾಗಿ ವಿಶೇಷವಾದ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳನ್ನು ಅರ್ಪಿಸಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬಯಸ್ತೇನೆ. ಮತ್ತು ಕಳೆದ 4-6 ತಿಂಗಳುಗಳಿಂದ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ NK ಲೋಕನಾಥ್ ಅವರು PMEB ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಆಗಿ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮವನ್ನು ತಮ್ಮ ಹೃದಯಕ್ಕೆ ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಂಡು ಭಾಳ ಅಚ್ಚುಕಟ್ಟಾಗಿ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮವನ್ನು ಈ ಮಟ್ಟಕ್ಕೆ ತಗೊಂಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವರಿಗೆ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯದ ಪರವಾಗಿ ಮತ್ತು ಎರಡೂ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಗಳ ಪರವಾಗಿ ನಾನು ಭಾಳ ಹೃತ್ಪೂರ್ವಕ ಸ್ವಾಗತವನ್ನು ಬಯಸ್ತೇನೆ. ಮತ್ತು ಈ ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಭಾಳ ವಿಶೇಷವಾಗಿ ದುಡಿದಂಥ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಚೇತನ್ ಅವರು, ನಮ್ಮ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯದ ಮಾನ್ಯ ಕುಲಪತಿಗಳ ವಿಶೇಷ ಅಧಿಕಾರಿಗಳು, ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯದ ವಿಶೇಷ ಅಧಿಕಾರಿಗಳು, ಅವರ ಒಂದು ಸೇವೆಯನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ನಾನು ಈ ಒಂದು ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ವಿಶೇಷವಾಗಿ ಗುರುತಿಸಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಮತ್ತು ವಂದನೆಗಳನ್ನು ತಿಳಿಸಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬಯಸ್ತೀನಿ. ನಮ್ಮ ವೈಸ್ ಚಾನ್ಸಲರ್ ಅವರ ಸೆಕ್ರೆಟರಿಯೇಟು, ಹಾಗೆಯೇ ಅನ್ನಪೂರ್ಣಿ ಮೇಡಮ್ ಅವರ ಆಫೀಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರ ಸಿಬ್ಬಂದಿ ಕೂಡ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮವನ್ನು ಆಯೋಜನೆ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಭಾಳ ವಿಶೇಷವಾದಂಥ ಒಂದು ಕೆಲಸವನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವರೆಲ್ಲರ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಹೃತ್ಪೂರ್ವಕ ಗೌರವವನ್ನು ಸಲ್ಲಿಸಿ ತಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಭಾಗವಹಿಸಿದಂಥ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ನಾನು ವಂದನೆಗಳನ್ನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಭಾಗವಹಿಸಿದ್ದಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಪ್ರತ್ಯಕ್ಷವಾಗಿ ಪರೋಕ್ಷವಾಗಿ ಸಹಕಾರ ನೀಡಿದ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ನಾನು ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳನ್ನು ಹೇಳಿ ನನ್ನ ಮಾತನ್ನು ಮುಗಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಜೈ ಹಿಂದ್, ಜೈ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ.
ವಂದನೆಗಳು ಸರ್. ಮೊದಲನೇ ಭಾಗದ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಮುಗಿಯುವ ಸಮಯ. ಆ ನಂತರ ದಯಮಾಡಿ ತಾವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರಗೀತೆ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಥಳದಲ್ಲೇ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಒಂದು ನಿಮಿಷ ಇದ್ದು ಔಟ್ರೀಚ್ ಟಾಕ್ನ ಆರ್ ವಿ ಅಲೋನ್ ಅನ್ನುವ ವಿಷಯದ ಮೇಲೆ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಸುಜನ್ ಸೇನ್ಗುಪ್ತಾ ಅವರು ನಮಗೆ ಅರ್ಧ ಗಂಟೆ ಕಾಲ ಭಾಷಣ ಮಾಡಲಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅದನ್ನು ಸುಸೂತ್ರವಾಗಿ ತಾವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ನೆರವೇರಿಸ್ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಈಗ ವಿದುಷಿ ರಶ್ಮಿ ಅವರು ತಮ್ಮ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿನಿಯರಿಂದ ಜೊತೆ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರಗೀತೆಯನ್ನು ಹಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಮಿಸ್ ಸಂಗೀತ, ಮಿಸ್ ಶ್ರಾವಂತಿ, ಮಿಸ್ ಶ್ವೇತಾ, ಮಿಸ್ ಕಲ್ಯಾಣಿ, ಮಿಸ್ ಮಾನಸ, ಮಿಸ್ ದೀಪಿಕಾ ಅವರು ವೇದಿಕೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಬರಬೇಕು. ರಶ್ಮಿ ಅವರು ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಲೀಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾಯಿದ್ದಾರೆ.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता, पंजाब सिंधु गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल वंगा, विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा, तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष माहे, गाहे तव जय गाथा, जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता, जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे. Thank you.
ದಯಮಾಡಿ ತಾವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಇದ್ದಲ್ಲೇ ಇದ್ದು ಸಹಕರಿಸಬೇಕು. ಮೇಡಮ್ ನಿರ್ಮಲಾ ಸೀತಾರಾಮ್ಜಿ ಅವರು ಈಗ ನಿರ್ಗಮಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ.
ಬನ್ನಿ ಬನ್ನಿ ಸರ್, ಫೋಟೋ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋಣ.
ಕರ್ಸು ಸರ್, ಬನ್ನಿ ಮೇಡಮ್. ಫೋಟೋ ಒಂದು
Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me immense pleasure to introduce Professor Sujan Sengupta. He is a professor at the Indian Institute of Astrophysics, Bangalore, who works on various aspects of observation and theory of extraterrestrial planets. He is a signatory of Breakthrough Initiative for the Search of Extraterrestrial Intelligent Life. He is a pioneer of polarimetric method for characterizing the atmosphere of exoplanets. Besides publishing several research papers on exoplanets, Professor Sengupta wrote a popular book on the search for habitable exoplanets as well. He regularly delivers many public talks on astronomy for school and college students. Professor Sengupta will speak on the topic now, Are We Alone? Over to Professor Sengupta. He's adjusting his slides. Please give him 2 minutes. It's taking some 2-3 minutes for him to get the thing right, gadget right.
This idea didn't come. My apologies because of the technical problem. We are slightly delayed. And I thank the organizer, especially my director, Professor Annapurni Subramaniam, for this kind invitation to come to deliver my lecture to you after 2 years of talking in virtual world in webinar. Now among you, I feel that at least I am not alone. I think most of you, all of you are curious about alien, about extraterrestrial life. Some of you may have already started believing in the presence of alien on the earth itself by seeing pictures, videos of UFO and wild photograph of animals that suits our imagination of extraterrestrial features. But science is a fact-finding process, and it is not based on faith or belief of even majority of people. It establishes the fact by unambiguous evidences, and testimony of eyewitness is never considered as evidence in science. Now, for last 6 decades, we have been trying, we have been searching for alien signals, but without any success. Now, this is not the failure of our effort, but it implies that how rare is the signal, how rare is the signature of alien civilization. So in this talk, I will explain you by analyzing our existing knowledge whether really alien civilization exists in our galaxy or we are really alone. This has gone again. Sorry, PowerPoint is crashing. Now that's Earth, that's home, that's the only planet in the vast cosmic arena that is known yet to harbor not only life, but also intelligent life and civilization that can communicate to the outer space. But in the 4 billion years of evolution of human species on Earth, our oldest ancestor, the Homo erectus, they appeared on the earth only 2 million years ago, and the Homo sapiens, that is the modern human, appeared only 3,100 years ago. Cultivation started about 10,000 years ago, and the modern urban civilization, the first urban civilization by the Sumerian civilization started nearly 3,000 years ago. But the Sumerian and subsequently the Babylonian, the ancient Greek, the Egyptian, everybody imagined about the presence of extraterrestrial intelligence, and they wrote their imagination, they noted down their imagination in scripture, in painting, and in their mythologies. But about 2,500 years ago, a philosopher, Greek philosopher Aristotle, he gave the idea that the earth is a special place in the universe and it is the center of our universe. So after 100 years of the birth of Jesus Christ, Ptolemy also advocated this theory, and the Roman Catholic Church decreed that anything against Aristotelian knowledge should be considered against the religion, and so the plurality of the universe was completely lost. But development of science cannot be stopped for a long. So as more and more scholars collected evidences, the reality was contradicting Aristotelian thought. So finally, just before his death in 1543, the Polish astronomer and mathematician Nicholas Copernicus, he gave his hypothesis that the sun is the center of the universe and not the earth. So the universe become heliocentric instead of geocentric. Now, Giordano Bruno supported and openly advocated this idea. Not only that, he told that all the lights in the night sky that we are seeing it, they are all similar to the sun, and they should all have planets around them. And some of those planets may be similar to our Earth, and they may have life around them. So for such type of revolutionary idea or opinion, Bruno was burned alive in the street of Rome on 14th February 1600. But in the meantime, astronomers and mathematician Tycho Brahe has collected a large amount of astronomical data on the motion and the position of the celestial objects. And using those data collected by Tycho Brahe, Johannes Kepler found 3 laws for the motion of the solar planets around the sun. In the meantime, by using the recently invented telescope, Galileo Galilei also found that the Copernicus theory is right, and he discovered a few moons of Jupiter. So the plurality was again restored, and we again started asking, are we alone in this vast cosmic arena, or are we, or is anybody out there? But our search, our imagination, our speculation at that time were all confined within Mars and Moon, because they were the nearest celestial object. And this is because of technological limitation. The human civilization need to wait for another 2 more centuries before it becomes a cosmic communicating civilization. So after Hertz discovered radio wave, just 8 years after, Sir Jesse Bose invented the transmitter and receiver for radio, and he demonstrated it at Calcutta Town Hall. A few months later, Marconi too invented radio. Now, after 30 years of this, a young engineer accidentally discovered the radio telescope while he was trying to find out the disturbance in the radio signal of these transatlantic messages at that time. Then, after another 25 years, a modified radio telescope Big Ear was installed at Ohio State University for specific purpose to search for alien. And that's the beginning of the scientific search for extraterrestrial intelligence, or SETI. Subsequently, another project, Project Ojma by Professor Frank Drake, was initiated. Now, from Project Ojma to the recently installed Breakthrough Initiative, for the last 6 decades, there is a hectic search for finding out signal from extraterrestrial planet, search for any evidences if there is any activities by extraterrestrial intelligence. But so far we have not received anything. So the question arises then, so does alien civilization exist, or we are alone? If alien civilization exists, then how many of them should be there in our galaxy? There is a crash all the time. Nevertheless, we are quite disturbing thing, but can't help it. So in this is terrible. Okay. So in 1961, Professor Frank Drake came out with some expression that can give an approximation of or an estimation of how many alien civilizations may exist in our galaxy. This is known as Drake's equation. Now this expression is not a derived equation, but it just give a rough estimation. The whole purpose of this expression was to encourage or to inspire astronomers for the search of extraterrestrial life. Now this is here, the N is the number of alien civilizations that can communicate, not necessarily with us, but the alien civilization which has the advanced technology so that they can send radio signal. So R star is the rate of star formation, average rate of star formation in our galaxy. Fp is the fraction of the star that has planet, and Ne is the average number of rocky planet in the habitable zone per star, per planet hosting star. Fi is the fraction of rocky planets in the habitable zone that actually harbor life. C, this is the fraction of life harboring planet that harbor intelligent life. Fc is the, so these are the thing, and finally L is the average length of this civilization that can communicate. So now you realize that even if we find out a Earth twin or a planet very much habitable, it is not necessarily that there will be life on that planet, or even there is a life, there will be intelligent life, or there will be a communicating civilization. So now I will discuss one by one how big or how small are these parameters which determines that the possible number of alien in our galaxy. So first is the rate of the average rate of star formation per year. So now that comes from the observed rate of the material that is used for star formation, the material that interstellar dust and gas that makes a star, and if we divided it by the mean mass of the newly born star, then we can get the number 1.36 to 2.9 per year. So we have n is equal to 2. Now the next fraction is the fraction of the stars that host planet. But although Giordano Bruno or Sir Isaac Newton predicted that there could be planets around other stars, but a search for the planet or the discovery of the planet was not possible at that time because of the limitation of the civilization, because we didn't have photographic plate at that time until the middle of 19th century. But in the mid 18th century, so finally a report on the effort by some scientists came from Madras Observatory in 1855. So Madras Observatory was established by British East India Company in 1786 for the purpose of meteorological observation, but it was used at that time also for monitoring the position and motion of stars. So this observatory was then shifted to Kodaikanal Observatory in 1900, and then Kodaikanal Observatory became a part of Indian Institute of Astrophysics in 1971. So Captain Jacob, he found that the binary star system 70 Ophiuchi are not following Kepler's law. So there is some anomaly. So from that he predicted that if there is a Jupiter mass planet or a Jupiter sized planet, then this anomaly can be removed. And he published his result and details anomaly in the position in monthly notice of Royal Astronomical Society. Subsequently, many astronomers in USA supported his claim, but then later on, after 50 years, when technology improved, it was found that Captain Jacob actually didn't incorporate the atmospheric effect properly. Nevertheless, this is considered as the first false alarm for exoplanets. So you'll be happy to know that the first scientific report on exoplanet, whether it is true or false, came from India only. Then 140 years, there was no report, no discovery, there was no confirmation of extrasolar planet by anybody in the world. Finally, in 1995, Michel Mayor and his junior colleague, Didier Queloz, they reported confirmed discovery of a planet around a sun type of star, 51 Pegasi b, for which they were awarded Nobel Prize in Physics in 2019. But you know, unlike the way we see the solar planets, the extrasolar planets cannot be seen directly because they are hidden under the intense light of their star. So the astronomers take indirect method to detect and confirm the planet. So one of the method is called the transit method. In this method, the astronomer continuously monitored the brightness of the star, and if the star hosts a planet, and then if it transits across its disk, it blocks a tiny part of the stellar disk and thus reduces the brightness of the star. So the astronomer, what they monitor continuously this drop in the reduction in the brightness of the star, and they confirm that the presence of a extrasolar planet. Now, statistical analysis by this method tells that at least by average, half of the stars should have planet. But this transit method has a bias because it can detect only those planets which are viewed edge on to the observer, that is whose inclination angle is much higher. Now, by using Indian telescope, we also observe this planet hosting stars. This is our Jagadish Chandra Bhattacharya telescope at Kabalur, and here is our Hanle. We use this telescope to find out the signal of exoplanet in those planet hosting stars. Now, another method of detection is called the gravitational microlensing, which is based on Einstein's general relativity. So now if there is a distant star which is aligned, almost aligned with a foreground star or nearby star, then when then the light of this distant star gets magnified by this foreground star, because the light from the background star gets bent by the intense gravitational field of the foreground star. Now, if this foreground star has a planet, then it will also act like a lens, and it will also slightly magnify the brightness or the light of the distant star. Now, monitoring this brightness variation in the distant star by this background star, astronomers detect and confirm planets outside the solar system. This method removes the bias from the transit method, and therefore statistical analysis tells that from this method that each star should have at least by average one planet. So it is a rule by all the stars that they should form planet and they should have planet. The next number is the number of rocky planet in the habitable zone of their star. But then what is habitable zone? So habitable zone, circumstellar habitable zone, is a region around a star at such a distance that its temperature is appropriate for water to exist in liquid form. Now, this distance, the distance of this region is determined by how much radiation the star emits or how hot is the star. Now, if you consider our solar planets, if we consider only the heat emitted by our sun, then the temperature of Earth will become 5 degrees Celsius, that of Venus will become 55 degrees Celsius, and Mars will become minus 43 degrees Celsius. So therefore, Earth, Venus, and marginally, because of its high elliptical orbit, Mars can also be considered in the habitable zone of our sun. That is, they could have appropriate temperature for water to exist in liquid. But we know that all these planets, they have a property, reflecting property, that some portion of the light it received from the stars get reflected away into the space, and that is called the albedo. So the Earth, it emits, it reflects back 30% of the sunlight it receives. And the Mars reflects 25% of the sunlight it receives to the space. and Venus replaces whooping 75% of the sunlight in the space. So if we consider this albedo or the reflectivity, then the temperature of Earth will become minus 15 degrees Celsius. The temperature of Venus will become minus 43 degrees Celsius. And because Mars is already away from it, its temperature will become minus 63 degrees Celsius. Therefore, none of the rocky planets in the solar system would be in the habitable zone. But then, so what is the problem? Because we know that Earth has an atmosphere, Earth's average atmosphere is 15 degrees Celsius, under which water exists in all liquid, solid, liquid and gaseous states. So that is the reason. The reason is called the greenhouse effect. Now when the sunlight enters into the atmosphere and it hits the rocky surface, the surface gets warm up. And then it radiates the heat from the surface, but in a weaker energy or in a longer wavelength. Now this radiation in infrared, when it tries to escape the planet, it gets scattered several times by the carbon dioxide, by the methane, by the water molecules, and so it gets trapped into the atmosphere. And this trapped energy, the trapped temperature, it raises the temperature of the Earth atmosphere by 30 degrees Celsius, making the mean temperature of the Earth 15 degrees Celsius from minus 15 degrees Celsius. So we know that even if we find out some planets in the habitable zone, some rocky planet in the habitable zone, it depends whether there will be water or not in its surface, liquid water, that depends on the atmosphere of the planet. Now, quite a few rocky planets has been discovered in their habitable zone of this planet. And the statistical analysis of Kepler Space Telescope tells that average 2 to 12% of all the stars in our galaxy, mainly the lightest stars and the dimmest stars, they have rocky planet in their habitable zone, and nearly half or 50% of the solar type of stars have rocky planet in their habitable zone. So that makes the number of rocky planets in the habitable zone is 1. So at least one rocky planet will be there in the habitable zone. Then so we can take the mean value 1 to 3, that we take the optimal value 3. The next parameter, it comes the fraction of rocky habitable planet that actually harbors life. So in that case, we come into another fundamental question: what is life? Now, our knowledge on life is limited to the billions of living species we see on the earth. But can we really define even the earth-based life? When I search for the definition of life, I stop after the 95th scientific definition, biological definition of life, and that excludes the philosophical definition of life. So there is no universal definition of life. See, if somebody asks you that what is water, you will definitely tell that, oh, water is a molecule made of 1 hydrogen atom and 2 oxygen atom. Even it can be expressed by the mathematical formula H2O. Now, from that fundamental formula, by using our existing knowledge on atomic physics and molecular physics and a bit of quantum mechanics, we can derive all the physical and chemical properties of water. Unfortunately, such a fundamental definition of life doesn't exist. So we can only describe life by pointing out the most important function that makes it distinguished from non-living entities. So we can tell that it is not coming. Then it got hanged. Sorry, it got hanged now. I think they did something and that's the problem here. got hand. Did it? The laptop got hand with that. This is a problem. Nothing is working. Can I put it in other laptop? Just can I put it in another laptop and get it? Just other.
It got hanged,
So half an hour talk, do you want to just talk and finish it like that?
Yeah, just a few more slides are there, but it's not my fault. Just a few seconds, there are some technical problem here. If you can... Mysore. Yeah. Go to that slide below. Yeah, put it here. Yeah. We are here. What is life? What is life? So you put it anywhere, you connect it. Okay. Just 1 second. Get it there. Sorry for this. Coming? You. No, you go to here and then make the view. Below some here. You can then click here. Below, what is light? Yes. Below, above it. Yes, there. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Now can you see? Okay. Sorry for this thing. We can describe, instead of a fundamental definition, we can describe life as life is an ensemble of organic material governed by a self-sustaining synchronized system of chemical process and characterized by metabolism, replication and evolution through natural selection. Now, organic material is made of, it's a carbon-based compound made of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. Now, the origin of organic materials is a controversial topic. So, some 90 years ago, two scientists, Halden and Oparin, postulated that the organic materials on Earth and hence life on Earth was synthesized on the Earth itself by the chemical process under the condition that prevailed during the early Earth. And then about 70 years ago, two scientists, Urey and Milner, they performed an experiment in laboratory, and out of some mixture of a inorganic material, they synthesized amino acid, the building block of life, by simulating a similar condition that prevails in the early Earth. But then recently, so because of this experiment, everybody was convinced that organic material was synthesized on Earth and life was originated on Earth itself. But recently, we are receiving some meteorite from outer space, like this Murchison meteorite, which is 7 billion years old, 2.5 billion years older than our sun and solar system. And that carries organic material, including nucleic acid and plenty of water. So now, as the infrared astronomy also improves, we now know that the interstellar medium is a big factory of producing organic materials. And therefore, we are now confused and there are controversy and contradiction in opinion. So in that case, did life origin on Earth, or it has come out from, it has imported from space? Nobody knows. But most of the biologists believe that the life, the biological evolution started on Earth by chemical evolution, by the formation of ribonucleic acid, which can store information. Then it evolved to ribosome, which can both store and catalyze protein. But if that is the case, if the life originated through chemical evolution, then it will be just a coincidence and it will be very rare for the origin of life. On the other hand, if life is, the origin of life is cosmic, then there could be many planets which will have life. Now, metabolism is a process through which a living cell stores, receives, stores, and releases energy in its battery called mitochondria. In this process, the hydrolysis and oxidation is two important catabolic or catabolism method. Therefore, for running out the energy, for keeping the energy sources, water and oxygen is essential. However, we know also that during photosynthesis, liquid water is essential. We, the animal, cannot extract solar energy directly. The plants extract solar energy and produces and store it in glucose molecule, which is formed from carbon dioxide and water. And then we, the animals, eat this plant and consume this glucose, which goes to the mitochondria. So therefore, the habitable zone is defined as the region where liquid water could be available. The replication is a method through which a cell, living cell, make its exact copy and also transfer the information from one generation to other generation. And the evolution of life is the response of an organism to the environment and its consequences over a long period of time. Now, if you find out a cat or a dog in the Mars, then you can straightway infer that there could be several dogs, several cats on Mars and their progenitor. But if you don't find, you can safely infer that those are imported from other planets. Nevertheless, the description cannot be always complete, or it will be always controversial. So NASA has given us a definition for life that says that life is a self-sustaining chemical system capable of Darwinian evolution. But even if life originated in many other planets, it needs several conditions for life to survive. As we know that our life on Earth survived because of a rare combination of geological and astronomical coincidences. So the position of the configuration of the solar system protects life on Earth. So we know that the solar system, at the end of the planetary system, there is a disk type of belt type of region that is called Kuiper belt, and this is the birthplace of all the small period comets. And the entire solar system is surrounded by a gaseous region called the Oort cloud, and the long period comets origin from here. Now this long period and the short period comets, while they are orbiting the sun, they could come and collide with Earth quite frequently. But in our solar system, the giant planets, they are far away and the rocky planets are very near. So when these comets travel from Kuiper belt or Oort cloud towards the sun, because of the mighty gravitational field of Jupiter and Saturn, they get attracted and they collide with Jupiter and Saturn, and thus the rate of collision with Earth is reduced drastically, and thus life is protected on the Earth. Now, we know that our planet has a geomagnetic field. Now, occasionally, the sun emits a lot of charged particles, and so these charged particles, they travel to the Earth, but it cannot penetrate the Earth's atmosphere because of the dipolar magnetic field. So it can only penetrate through the open magnetic pole and causing the spectacular aurora. So now if there was no diamagnetic geomagnetic field, this charged particle coming from the sun could have penetrated the atmosphere, it could have changed the chemical composition of the planet, it could have damaged the living cell. So therefore the Earth's geomagnetic field is protecting us. Now you will be surprised to know that the volcanoes and earthquakes are also protecting us. So on the Earth atmosphere, carbon dioxide plays a double role. It reflects a large amount of light to the space and thus cooling the planet. At the same time, it acts as an effective greenhouse effect by trapping the radiation. Now this carbon dioxide gets dissolved with rainwater and then it falls to the rock, and then it converts the silicon carbonate into silicon rock into carbonate sediment and then dissolve into the ocean water. So in this process, in 10 million years, the entire carbon dioxide in the Earth's atmosphere would have been depleted. But because of volcanoes and because of earthquake, this carbon dioxide again released into the atmosphere. Within 1 million years, it creates a carbon silicon cycle and maintain the amount of carbon dioxide in the earth. So volcanoes and earthquake also reprocess the minerals and the atmospheric chemical composition. Thus, this activity of the geological activity also protects life from life on Earth. Now, we know that the Earth rotation axis is tilted by 23.4 degrees, and because of this we get summer, we get winter, we get autumn, the seasonal change. But this axis, this tilt in the axis is also not fixed. It changes from 21.5 degrees to 24.5 degrees. And Earth's plane of orbit and its circularity also changes in 100,000 to 500,000 years. Now these changes, these dynamical changes are very small, so that enable the Earth to keep a pleasant or a favorable atmosphere climate for a long time. There is no chaotic change in our season. The season is quite stable. This is possible because of the presence of a heavy satellite, our beloved Moon. Now, Moon was formed about 60 million years after the planet Earth was formed. So, before the Moon was formed, the Earth was spinning so fast that the duration of one day was less than 10 hours. Now, after that, an object of Mars size called Theia collided with the Earth, and the ejecta formed our today's Moon, and it stabilizes the tilt axis of the Earth. So the Moon not only helps us in circulation of the atmosphere, not only help in tide, but it also keeps the climate habitable and stable. But all these conditions, we cannot find it out whether they exist in extrasolar planet, the planets outside the solar system or not. So what we will do that, we will try to find out the signature of light itself. So that is the biosignature. Now, if you pass the starlight into an atmosphere called spectrograph, it records the spectrum and gives the signature of its atmospheric composition. And by analyzing those signatures, the spectrum, you can tell about the presence of life. Now you can see that in the spectrum of this planet, carbon dioxide is present in all the planets, but in addition to carbon dioxide, oxygen and ozone molecules are also present. Now oxygen molecule was not present in the early Earth. So about 3.9 billion years ago, a bacteria called cyanobacteria started photosynthesis. And because all the free oxygen was combined with carbon, silicon, and then formed carbon dioxide, water, silicon oxide. But once this 3.9 billion years ago, the cyanobacteria started doing photosynthesis, the Earth's atmosphere became rich on oxygen molecules, and the entire chemical composition of Earth was changed. So now these oxygen molecules in the upper atmosphere, it gets bombarded by the solar ultraviolet rays and get dissociated into oxygen atom. One oxygen molecule and one oxygen atom combines to make ozone molecule. And this ozone layer is protecting us from the energetic ultraviolet rays of the sun. So therefore, oxygen and ozone are two signatures that carries the indication of life on the planet. Methane could also be the signature in an oxygen-rich atmosphere. Methane, chemically produced methane cannot survive for a long time because it reacts with oxygen and form carbon dioxide. But if there is a bioactivity, then there is a non-equilibrium and methane can be there in that atmosphere. So methane can also be present. But unlike the solar planet, we cannot detect this biosignature directly from the extrasolar planet or planet outside the source. So what we will do that we observe the light of the star, planet-hosting star, by using the spectrograph. The same method we detect it for Earth and take the planet, and then we take the spectrum of the star when the planet is transiting or blocking it. So now this second spectra that contains the information about the planetary atmosphere also. Now by subtracting the first spectrum from the second spectrum, we get the spectrum that contains the planetary atmosphere. So by numerically modeling this spectra, we can compare with the observed spectra and then we can recognize biosignature if there is any. Unfortunately, our present technology cannot detect the spectrum, so the high resolution spectrum of rocky habitable planet, but we are sure that in future the next generation telescope like James Space Telescope and the ground-based telescope like 30-meter telescope can obtain the desired spectra from the habitable planets, and we can recognize the biosignature if there is any. So coming to the estimation of this thing, so we know that we have no idea about the fraction of rocky planets in the habitable zone that harbor life. There is not even a guess, and the next two parameters are highly dependent on this parameter FL. So if we assume that if life is there in any planet, it will automatically evolve into intelligent life, then this fraction will be Fi will be 1, but evolution may not be so deterministic. It may or may not go into the intelligent life. We know that even after 4 billion years, there is only one species, Homo sapiens, survived as intelligent life and evolved into civilization. But if intelligent life evolved, then we can logically, even quite logically, we can infer that because of their need and nature, they can evolve into higher civilization that can communicate. So depending on that, there are two situations arises. If we consider that all those conditions that our planet Earth enjoys are essential for life to exist or survive, then the number of planets in harboring life in our galaxy will be extremely less. Probably we are the only civilization in our galaxy. On the other hand, if we consider that life can somehow manage to survive without this condition, then there could be a few millions of extra alien civilization that will be in our galaxy. But the last parameter, the L, that is the mean length at which the life can communicate this radio signal, is the most important, and probably this has been overestimated in this principle of mediocrity. Now I will come in my last slide for this L. Although space is a vast empty space, it is a very dangerous place. So collision by comet or giant asteroid can destroy the biosphere. It can cover up the entire atmosphere by dust cloud, and it can evaporate the ocean. Although Jupiter and Saturn are protecting us, but some comet may escape their cast and collide. We know that 60 million years ago dinosaurs were extinct because of some such type of collision. Now a supernova explosion by a nearby star, a gamma ray burst in our galaxy, the most energetic phenomena in our universe, caused by the collision of two neutron stars, or a giant flare from the sun may cause the complete destruction of our biosphere and the geomagnetic field. On the other hand, super earthquake, super tsunami, and super volcanoes can also cause mass destruction. But this astronomical and geological disaster, the probability is very less. The imminent probability is man-made disaster. A accidental nuclear, chemical, or biological wear may destroy our biosphere permanently and irreversibly. The advance of civilization and the use of technology, the fossil fuel, is keeping the carbon dioxide amount quite high, and that's giving us the global warming. And in this process, if this continue, then the carbon-silicon cycle may be destroyed. The Earth will become quite warm, and there will be ozone hole, so that the ultraviolet radiation from the sun can enter and it can destroy the living cell, and we can all die. So the destruction, because of the astronomical, geological, and civilization-made destruction method, the duration of a communicating civilization may not be very long, and so the number of alien civilization in our galaxy may be very less. Whatever be the possibility of alien civilization, whatever be the number of alien alien civilization, what we know that our art is very rare. It is so unique, it is so rare that it is our responsibility, it is our duty to protect this planet from immediate destruction such that generation of children can keep on smiling about it.
Hello. Yeah. Thanks. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? No?
I'm sorry for the technical delays and thing. I hope that you have enjoyed the talk, or at least you have got the flavor of it. Is there
Can you hear me now?
you want any question answer or?